Hello everyone. What's today, Wednesday? It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. Today we're going to be looking into the story of Neely Petrie-Blanchard, a sovereign citizen who got so deep into the conspiracies, she ended up becoming a murderer. It's going to be an interesting one. We have some stuff from before the murder happened, and then we have her interrogation. Should be pretty interesting. I also grabbed some other stuff if this doesn't take as long as I thought, but I think this should cover enough for the entirety of stream. Hydrate will do. Let me just get this. And let me see what I missed in chat. Hello, Wannabe. How's it going? Oh, we're on a treasure train. If you do this train and get up to a certain level, then groups of 5 subs are 30% off, I think. So it's near the end of the month. If you want to help us get to our sub goal, you can always gift subs, become a subscriber, or if you just want to support the train, you can use bits. Phoenix2250 with a 5-stream streak says, I'm streaking again. Maybe I can make this one last. Ken Sister Sue with a 65 stream streak says, Hi Hannah, how are you? What? Hi Hannah, how are you diddling me today, old cocker? This is said in a London accent. I'm not gonna do it in a London accent, so that's the best you get. Social Warlock with 72 months says, Boop, that is a sub baby, which I gave you the other day. When you told me you had this, but the thing didn't pop up. I don't remember its name, though, so I hope you did. Caesar Bishop, thanks for a 5-stream streak, says, Cause ain't such things as halfway crooks. Quasispec, thanks for 15 months. Ashley One Up with 100 bits says, Good news, I got a let from the local gender identity clinic letter, I assume. I'm near the top of the waiting list now and will be getting my first appointment within the next 6 months. I've been waiting since February 2021. Congrats! That's a long time to wait. Glad it's coming up soon. Aikido01, thank you for 165 stream streak. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Sweet Lily Love, thanks for 100 bits. Phoenix Leftist with 180 stream streak says, Woohoo! Hello, everyone. Hello, Phoenix. Sweet Lily Love with 150 stream streak says 150. That's crazy. It is crazy. 150 in a row? I don't even think I've been present for that many. 5% to level 2 on the hype train. Anyway, so back to the case itself. I think we'll start with introducing Neely herself. Innocuous Blonde with 54 months says, Oh my gracious, it's another bouncing baby. Who shall be joining Accordion B, Harmonica B, Theremin Rimshot, and no musical talent? Oboe. Just oboe. One word, like Madonna. Stone Corbell, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 2 of the hype train. Much appreciated. Maybe I'll wait till the end of the thing to start because I don't want to be pausing the whole time. I guess I could show you... We can start here. Let's start with some of the Sobsit stuff from the Guru before the murders happened, of course. The fella on the left here's name is Chris Howlet. He is the fellow that's going to be murdered by the young Neely Petrie-Blanchard. He's a sovereign citizen that created his own little organization he calls E-Clause, which stands for Emoluments Clause. And it's basically a group like any other sovereign citizen group. You give this guy money, he'll give you legal advice that is very, very bad. He did these little workshops like you'll see here in this video. Most of his presence online has been wiped, as well as Neely Petrie-Blanchard, unfortunately, but I have gathered what is available for our viewing pleasure today. So, let's jump into one of his little explainer things. He's not the most charismatic, I'm not gonna lie to you, so I might speed him up just a little bit. But once we get a little background on the stuff he was teaching, then we can move over to Neely, and finally her interrogation and arrest.
Because I got some stuff I want to cover. because apparently we're having some issues with the 10 principles of group decision making. One of the main reasons why we're having this problem, right, is that first fundamental.
We did not finish David Straight yet. We'll finish him sometime later in the week. Either maybe Sunday, we might finish David Straight. Probably Sunday.
Principle of group decision making. So with that, and while I'm getting this shared, I'm going to get that bad rascal up on the screen, because this is kind of the main thing that is causing most of our problems, I would imagine. And I think I'm kind of surprised more people haven't put this together yet. And you know, you walk in and they say, oh, I have jurisdiction. Oh, I have jurisdiction. Says who? Right?
Right.
That's why, you know, how many times have we said it, Kirk? You have to challenge the jurisdiction. Subject matter, personal, you know, and again, don't go into that, oh, I'm the living man, I have a heartbeat, you know, blah, blah. You sound like a bumbling fool when you do that.
I like when sovereign citizens make fun of other sovereign citizens' belief. It's all bullshit, but it's bullshit that they notice in other gurus, but not themselves.
Love of God, don't do that. Okay? Yep. You know, they say, state your name for the record. How do you know that name? Well, that's the one my parents gave me, and that's the one I answered to when I got busted smoking in the bathroom. And if I didn't answer to it, I got my face slapped off. So, you know,
is that smoking in the boys' room?
I'm sorry that your childhood was so fucked up.
Yeah. Smoking in the boys' room. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So, you know,
he's less charismatic than Marcel.
But
minute and a half left on the hype train.
The first most fundamental principle is to, you know, it's so basic. That's why I say, Kirk and I always say this all the time. It makes our brains hurt because we already know that these actors are exercising powers they don't have, right? And this is and
he knows they don't have that power because he doesn't like it.
The first fundamental principle of group decision making. How many times have you said it, Kirk? McDonald's cannot walk into Burger King and say, okay, I'm here to pass out orders now.
Right. This is a pretty common sovereign citizen argument where they act as though the federal government or even state governments are private for-profit corporations that don't have authority over people. They're not. They're the government. Minute left on the hype train.
Right.
You can't do that. All right. And
when they do, wouldn't that be unlawful?
Yeah, it would have no standing in law. Right? Any decision or rule or whatever that is contrary to the Constitution is not withstanding. Right? Judges have been telling us this for eons. When are we going to listen? Right? I mean,
that's the basis of constitutional law.
You know,
I don't think they're ignoring it. I think they're just not applying it the way that you wish they would. There's a pretty big difference between those two things. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 3 of the treasure train.
I'm really trying to.
I think now, yeah, gift subs of 5 or more are 35% off. Cool beans.
Help you guys get through this, and it's hard. I mean, I know it's hard because you've been run through the sham, right? Run through the crap and the shit show and all that stuff that we talk about here on the show. So, you know, this is one of the reasons why I said, okay, well, we already know this. Who's the one that's doing this? Okay, well, I'm going to kind of take us to a different screen share here. Okay, this is one of those fundamental principles, right? We've said this how many times? Certain fundamental principles govern decision-making.
He has 2 things that he tends to focus on. From what I've been able to gather and what I've watched today while I've been listening to him, he seems to get hung up on these principles of parliamentary law and procedure, which he will take. I don't know where these are specifically from, or if they even apply to the United States Congress specifically, but he will absolutely do so, because, again, like, it's not a parliament, it's a Congress, but it is a group of people, and there is parliamentary procedure at play. Parliamentary procedure is used in things other than just literal parliaments. But anyway, he will talk about this, and he will talk about emoluments. The thing is, he uses emoluments incorrectly. He uses emoluments instead of what it actually is, which is, benefits received, right? So an emolument is you receiving something of value. There are clauses in the Constitution that are supposed to prevent politicians, including the president, from getting illegal emoluments from foreign nations or even domestically. It's basically to stop public officials from getting bribes. However, he has interpreted this instead to mean, for some reason, that the government taking in our tax dollars more than he wants is an emolument to them. That's not what emoluments means, but he claims it is. So he claims that all the taxes that the government takes in and uses for services he says he doesn't want, he claims that's an emolument and an emolument violation, and therefore the entire government is fraud. None of that's true, it's all bullshit, but it is his particular sovereign citizen framework. It's actually a framework I've never seen before. I think this is pretty uniquely his idea. So yeah, interesting. Interesting that he's separate from other sovereign citizens and that his basis for the illegitimacy of the government is based on entirely different pseudo-law.
Procedure. These principles are so fundamental as to be required to give validity to the decisions of a group. These requirements generally apply without being adopted and without the consent or the approval of the body. These principles are stated in section 43. Looks a lot like that first principle of group decision making, doesn't it, bro? I mean, that's it. Right
the group must be so constituted and endowed by their creator. What? Oh, that has the power, right? And authority that it purports to exercise.
Right.
That's kind of like, the scope and authority.
Right. So who's been litigating in Congress?
No one litigates in Congress. They legislate in Congress. The fact that you don't know the difference between those two things is startling, considering you're presenting yourself as an expert on the government. Minute left on the hype train.
Is that duty there? Can you actually perform that duty, or are you acting outside of the scope and authority of that emolument?
Well, and again, we figured out, okay, there's this self-proclaimed group, right, known as the Bar Association, and they've been repeating this crap over and over and over again while we were at work all day long, hence statutes and...
Oh, he does that a lot rhetorically, too. When we've been at work all day long, he acts as though... In this case, he's more talking about the government, but he does this in reference to lawyers as well. He acts as though lawyers aren't working, as if legal work is not a job, which is obviously not the case. It's very difficult work you have to go to school for quite a while for. But he really likes to denigrate people in the court system by basically claiming that they don't do any real work. We do all the real work. We're the salt of the land, the blood of the soil. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub and saving the hype train.
Codes and rules and and all of that garbage.
That's called color of law?
Right.
You're having trouble finding what he's quoting. Can you show us the top of the window? It's a file. It's not a website. He just named it Principles of Parliamentary Law 001. That's the file name in his computer.
So you want to go in there and you want to challenge any and or all of it. You have to follow the process that they followed to get it, right? Because that is due process of law. So one of the reasons why, Kirk and I have repeatedly said this, how many times? Due process of law and due process of a court are not synonymous with each other, right? They're using these courtrooms, right? They're calling them courtrooms, but they're private corporations. They have no standing in law. So, to go in and litigate and argue, well, what is a corporation is a dead entity and da-da-da-da-da. There again, you get back drawn into that same damn rabbit hole. I'm the living man and I have a heartbeat, and you tickle me, do I not laugh? Prick me, do I not lead? Piss me off, do I not punch you in the mouth?
Is the chat box working? I didn't notice. Hold on. Random message. Okay, it works.
Those are things that are pretty much a given, I would hope, at this point, right? So,
when you're talking personal jurisdiction, personal,
right?
Do they have the right person? Do they have the natural person, the man, or do they have the artificial
Profane Priestess says even if he was right, which he isn't, Trump used the presidency to enrich himself constantly, and he only got worse this time around. The emoluments clause has been de facto abolished because laws only exist if someone enforces them. Trump is nakedly corrupt, as are other people in our government like Justice Thomas. Agreed.
Official person, the all caps letters.
That's why I said in theory when I was talking about it.
Because if they're going with the all caps letters, that's an artificial person.
Right.
And okay, well,
Hey,
that's
Terranona.
not me as the man. And if they say we're talking about an official person, an entity, or an individual, which is an individual is a member of an entity, corporation, blah, 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 blah. Where's the contract of employment? Where's the quid pro quo?
It's not a contract. There doesn't need to be any reciprocity. There is no quid pro quo. It's not a contract. It's a legal matter that isn't contract law. It's criminal, not civil. Mossloth says there's something darkly ironic about the guy talking so much shit about the justice system that ended up holding his murderer accountable. True!
Because if you don't have one, then you don't have personal jurisdiction.
And she did decide to defend herself in court. I'm sure you won't be shocked to find out. There's no footage of it, unfortunately. It's not like a public trial where there was a news thing there, so we don't get to see that. But we will get to see the interrogation and arrest. So.
the contract.
Right. And there can't be a quid pro quo without a reciprocity, which is the mutual benefit, right? Remember, the definition of quid pro quo. Yeah, the definition of quid pro quo refers directly to reciprocity. You can't have quid pro quo without reciprocity, right? So
the short definition is the what for what.
Right. So
you're going to give, like, here you go, the emolument. You're going to.
There are probably transcripts. I don't have them on me today. Maybe another day I can try and find some and see if they're interesting.
Here's the piece for you to perform. Here's the scope and authority of your emolument. Okay, there's the what for what. Now, when they step outside of that scope and authority and those duties to perform, and then, a lot of times about the bad actor in the law, blah, 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 blah. What about not performing duties when they're being instructed to do them?
Well, there you go.
Minute left in the hype train.
So again, now
when we instruct them to perform specific duties under their emolument, they don't do that. That's an emoluments violation, right?
Right. So according to the second principle of group decision making, say you do get together and you do acquiesce to a group.
Again, I don't understand why he's obsessed with this concept of principles of group decision making. Guess what? That's not in the Constitution.
Right? They're special interest groups. So I said, hey, I have a problem with that. So remember, that's why I put this litmus test together. Okay. Now, the reason that everybody knows and understands what this looks like in the private sector, especially those of us who were at work all day long, it's like
there's that work thing again.
Yeah, I totally get that. Been to one or two of those meetings. So, and of course, everybody was present, right? So we go through it. We realize that, there's another element in there called a stipend. Well,
thanks for the hype train, everyone.
Shit, who the hell was doing that? Oh, that would be these guys down here in quadrant 3 with that extra emolumentum, that benefit card. There's your emoluments violation right there. That's a power they ain't got.
So he thinks that the bar card is an emolument, assuming because he thinks the British Accreditation Registry thing?
Because that is a monarchy in both character and form, because it's their process. It's all the shit they manage, right? It has nothing to do with any of us. This is why the courts always say no jurisdiction, or some act of Congress violates the Commerce Clause, jurisdiction 2, right?
I got a question, Chris. Doesn't the Constitution limit Congress granting titles of nobility?
Well, it's not supposed to. That would be those
I was going to say,
emoluments.
The Constitution, Congress has no authority to grant titles of nobility.
That's right.
They don't?
Your Honor. Your Honor.
Well, right. Well, again, now you're talking about Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8 being interpreted as the titles of nobility clause, right? Well, what are the Democrats trying to relabel it as? Those foreign emoluments, right? The foreign emoluments clause. Shall we place bets on this, right? My money is on Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8. Any objection?
He's a Trump supporter, by the way, if I needed to say that. He talks about Trump and says Trump is on their side and Trump gave them money and...
Raise your hand or forever hold your peace. So, I went in and said...
he claimed that Trump directly gave him the authority. I don't know if I can find any video of this. I didn't today. But in various court cases that he was a part of, He was claiming that Trump gave him judicial authority to have his own legal system to adjudicate matters correctly. Of course, that's never been the case, and he lost all those court cases, because of course he did, which is one of the reasons that led to his death, because one of his followers, Neely Petrie-Blanchard, saw that he was losing all his cases, and her case in particular, because she wanted her kids back. She didn't have custody of her kids. And she decided, oh, he's not a grifter, just lying. He must be part of the QAnon conspiracy to traffic my children. So she went and she shot him.
No, not according to history, because
emptied a whole clip into him, too. Not even like a one. Emptied the gun into this man.
According to history, right? That's this crap. Those emoluments of statutable plunder while I was at work all day long, you dirty...
Did I remove the YouTube chat? No, they're just not chatting a bunch today.
Bastard. And here's what that business plan looks like, right? Well, again, that's why I know what business plans are. That's what I did all day long, is I'd go in there and build these models all day long. You know, I had to protect our corporations.
You built models all day long?
Yeah, well, again, hey, you know, I had to protect our corporations.
Okay, were they
See,
car
there's
models
a YouTube
or
comment.
airplane models?
Vroom, vroom, choo-choo. Hey.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
That's right. Those aren't pillows.
Risk you take when you scam desperate conspiracy theorist parents? I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often to sovereign citizen gurus. By their nature of it, they are interacting with and lying to unhinged, delusional people. I'm kind of surprised more get out of it free than not.
Oh, good times.
Yeah, that's one of the 7 danger signs we've been doing this too long. But so anyway, that's why
I got to say, I miss being on here.
Right? We missed having you out there, bro. We really have. It's been barren without you. So,
quadratic litmus test in context of business impact assessments, method commonly used in calculating certain factors or variables when measuring positives and negatives. Fucking word salad. Oh my God.
Anyway, that's why I put this thing into a 1-page litmus test. I said, you mean to tell me, you know, dude, I was at work all day long. I know about...
There it is again.
Your fake status is your fake.
I don't know what Republicans need to hear this. There aren't a bunch of people just not working for fun. The world as it exists, people who can work usually do work because they need to work. Because if you don't, you die. Or you go on the street and you die. Like, what are these people thinking?
Fake standings, your fake jurisdictions, your kangaroo courts. You know, I participated in a lot of that garbage. Remember, again, what is loss prevention's job? Catch people stealing. You know, I've had to put people in a room and break them. It's part of my job. Wouldn't be, it ain't my, this ain't the first rodeo for me, and it ain't, damn sure ain't going to be the last one. So, moving back to the, okay. I had, let's see, I got to switch computers here because I got multiple computers going. We had this, you know.
All right. I think we've had enough of his boring grift. Let's get into Neely. So when she joined E-Claws, which was the name of the organization that he started, again, he was claiming to the followers that it was an organization that was okayed by Donald Trump and that they were going to get a bunch of money to enforce these policies and laws that they think are true. So here's her video swearing allegiance.
I, Neely Petrie-Blanchard, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Where'd they find a fucking moat to film this?
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take...
Where they're like, I'm gonna do the creepy oath or whatever, but also, can we do it on a moat? I don't know. Isn't that the army oath? It probably is. He stole it, I would imagine.
This obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and...
Do we know what she did to lose her kids? I couldn't find any official stuff, but according to other people in her community in Facebook comments claimed that she was allegedly dealing drugs. I do not have any proof of that, only the claims of people in her area.
faithfully discharge the duties of the office
The children were given to her mother, by the way.
on which I am about to enter. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all. God bless America.
Okay. Here is a video of her. The audio's not very good in this because she's driving, but you can hear her talking a little bit about her kids and how desperate she is to get her kids back.
People of this great nation, it's time to stand up tomorrow. Tomorrow, you get to exercise your right to vote, which many Americans take for granted every single day. And let me tell you why I know that they take for granted. They take this right for granted because they have no idea how many people are out there right now that have suffered great injustices just to be able to gain those rights back. People have been persecuted in family courts all over this nation for a very long time.
This happens to so many parents that lose their children through CPS or whatever government agency handles that where they live, will turn to the sovereign citizen movement for answers because it gives them easy answers. It gives them answers that say they don't even have the rights to take your kids, so you don't need to deal with any of the claims at all. In the case of Neely, if the drug accusations are true, yeah, she probably shouldn't have the custody of her kids if she's in a situation where she's primarily earning money through dealing drugs. That's not really safe. That's not a safe environment for the kids. You can't do that. But of course, she doesn't see it that way because she's, you know, the main character of her own life. She loves her kids, I'm sure she does, and she wants to be with them. So she thinks that no matter the situation, no one has any rights to take them away from her, which has led her to some pretty crazy places.
In these processes, a lot of times, the innocent parent will get convicted of a crime that they did not commit. I am one of those parents. I was arrested in 2013 for transporting a child under the age of 18.
That's when she kidnapped her kids. After they were taken away and put with her mother, she was still allowed to see the kids, to be clear. She wasn't, like, completely barred from seeing them. She could see the kids when she wanted. They were just in the custody of their grandmother, her mom. So one day, she went over, and she was supposed to take the kids on, like, a day trip. You know, they're her kids. She can do that. She can have them sometimes, just not in her primary custody. Instead, she decided to skip town with the kids, and for 6 days was on the run with her children, trying to keep them away from the grandma and the authorities because she is desperate to be the primary caregiver of her children, despite not apparently working towards that with the courts. Gitara, thanks for 52 months, says Praise Paul. Thank you.
Pending a custody order and not returning within 72 hours. Well, it was a bogus charge. First
It was not a bogus charge. She did that shit.
of all, this is not just any child. This is my daughter.
Okay, I understand that literally she's your daughter. Legally, you don't have custody, though, so you don't get to do that.
A daughter that I carried for 9 months
Irrelevant.
in my womb that I have every right to, and every God-given right to protect.
All right, if God wants to step in and put things the way you think they should be, I guess that's God's right. Until then, we're going to work on the rights and legal things that exist here on Earth. How about that?
And defend my daughter. And to teach my daughter. Because God gave me my daughter. God did not give anybody else my daughter.
I believe she got life in prison, by the way.
God gave me my daughter.
I don't know if there's a possibility of parole.
Because I prayed for her. So, I was arrested in May 2nd, 2013, and my rights were stripped from me unlawfully. My right to vote, my right to carry a firearm.
Yeah, you're a felon.
To protect
If you want felons to be able to vote, don't vote for Donald Trump.
myself from the evil men and women who were seeking to destroy my life and my family. Well, I have a message for them. I'm strong, I'm going, I'm still fighting, and I'm still fighting every day because God promised me that if I would keep my faith, that He would bless me and He would give me back my daughters. And I want you to know,
I don't think that worked
Christians,
out.
this is
I'm starting to think that God isn't who was talking to her.
this is for Christians, and this is for the people of this nation. Exercise your vote. Do not think that your voice doesn't matter. Your voice matters, and there's a lot of people out there that are thankful just to be able this year to exercise their right to vote. I'm one of those people. I haven't been able to vote since 2013 or exercise my right. This year, I voted for the first time.
She in Florida,
And of course,
I assume.
I voted for Donald Trump. Christians, we're at a crossroad. Churches, pastors, it's time to...
She's such a good Christian, she killed a guy by emptying the whole gun into him. That's, I'm pretty sure, one of the big commandments, not to do that. Mark Rides says, if 3 corrections officers guarding the prison she's at get struck by lightning, I'll consider it a divine mandate in her favor. Until then, no. Probably a good call. Probably a good call.
Stand up. It's time to speak out. This president has protected and is protecting unborn children and the rights of our voices, the rights of Christians all over, and not
Because God knows Christians don't get heard enough.
just here, all over the world. Just check it. Just look at the records. Look at everything going on. Wake up. It's time to wake up, church. Let your conscience be the determining factor
Again, murderer!
tomorrow when you vote.
Let your conscience be your guide. Ultimate Undying says, Hannah, time to party. The government paid me back money. My credit card is paid off. Hell yeah.
You go in there and you pray before you go in there and you vote. And for all the people out there that's not going to go vote, I implore you to exercise your right. These are rights that our founding fathers, when they created this nation, they had an idea in mind, that process, that democratic process. And the people have just forgot about that process. Get involved. Find out who's on the ballot. Vote for people that have the same values as yourself. This election is the most important election that we have ever faced. I believe we've ever faced ever. And I know that God's will be done. But I just want to let you know, if somebody's out there that's hearing this now, that's not going to go vote, please pray about it.
The psychotic murderer vote went to Trump. That's a good sign.
And I'm asking you to change your mind and exercise the right that many people take for granted every single day. God bless, and God bless America. God bless this country. God bless our leaders. God bless the families. God bless the children.
What are Boxy's pronouns today? She, her, and like slutty.
God bless our churches. This nation, it's time to stand up. It's time to stand up and wake up and get out of this darkness that you've been under, because the controlling forces of darkness has not wanted you to know these truths. These truths are coming to light and let that little light shine. Because when those little lights shine, a big light shines. Love you all. Make America great again.
All right. So, after that, she didn't get her kids back. She was getting help from Chris Howlet, again, the guy on the left here that we showed earlier, who was running E-Claws. She decided that he was actively working against her and was part of the cabal and helping traffic her children. So, she went over to his house, shot him to death. There were 2 witnesses, a mother and a daughter, who were also staying at Chris's house that night. She emptied the whole gun into him and then ran away. And here's where they caught up to her at a chicken restaurant. There are no captions for this, I apologize. Altered Undying says, I also just realized that my ear's getting clogged from the condition I have that gives me vertigo, which I believe makes my equilibrium bad. Healthy equilibrium lessens ADHD symptoms. I'm being needed in real life.
Your name?
Parker?
Deputy
Josh.
You were reading about this in Trust the Plan, The Rise of Qanon and the Conspiracy That Unhinged America. That's a pretty good one.
Parker?
I have the audiobook of that. I don't have the actual book.
Got it right.
Their name tag's pretty distinct.
Oh, it does have my first
like
name on
that.
there.
Where is this? I'm not sure. I don't believe Florida. I think she absconded from Florida. They may have caught her in Georgia.
I'm requesting
it's
that you
Black's Law Dictionary request. What do you want me to look up, Ashley?
call the federal authorities in.
So she's asking them to call the federal authorities. Again, at this point, she believes that she has killed someone who's a part of a global child trafficking ring. Removal order? Will do.
I do not want to go back to Florida. I
Okay.
know about human trafficking going on, and if I go back to Florida, they're going to kill me.
Okay.
So that
Paranoid, believes that if she goes back, other people in on the conspiracy she's so sure of will kill her. Again, very funny that this is the conspiracy belief that caused the death of the person who taught it to her. Altered Undying says, nerfed autocorrect. I knew what you meant.
that is on you guys, and I'm telling you guys that there's a federal case going on right now in Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, all the states right now. It's politically backed. Like, I'm letting you know. I've sent evidence. Everyone knows what's going on right now. So if something happens,
Altered Undying, thank you so much for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs and getting us to our monthly goal. Thank you, Altered Undying. Much, much appreciated. And thank you, everyone, for getting us to our goal this month.
so I'm letting you guys know. I really need you guys to call the federal authorities.
Have you had any contact with any feds?
Yes, the federal. Yes.
Do you have a
my friends?
agent or anybody like that you've been in contact with?
Yes.
Okay.
And her number is in my phone, and I can get it for you.
Okay. What affiliation does she have? What
She's a U.S.
agency?
Marshal. They're
U.S. Marshals?
And so all the trafficking stuff that's going on right now, Operation Legend, everything that's going on right now involves me. I was literally the one that, I know I'm the one that's, my case was the weaponized family court case, and it's been used, and to expose the human trafficking. My children are trafficked right now. My daughter is 12. She's being trafficked in Charleston, South Carolina. I've been fighting since she was 1.5.
Okay. All right. So, U.S. Marshals, you said, have been in contact with you?
Yeah, more than just one federal authority.
Okay.
Multiple lines of federal authorities.
Okay.
I need someone to help
This one
me.
actually doesn't have removal order in it. It just has removal. Removal, the transfer or moving of a person or thing from one location, position, or residence to another. The transfer of an action from state to federal court. In removing a case to federal court, a litigant must timely file the removal papers and must show a valid basis for federal case jurisdiction. So not quite what we're looking for. Weird. Anyway.
Right now and look at my evidence and help me.
Okay. Well,
Who is the guy? I actually don't know. I think it's a friend of hers or something. I don't think it's a partner, but I could be wrong. I don't think she had a partner at the time. But again, I could be wrong.
I will speak to the gentleman that had, I guess, made contact with you guys first. We'll figure that out later in just a moment. But I'm going to let him.
There are federal authorities. Y'all are working with federal authorities.
Sure. But he has to conclude his investigation for a moment. So once we get everything calmed down, settled down, we'll discuss that, okay?
I should say, by the way, I closed down the P.O. box. The P.O. box is no longer a thing. I took out the command. Anything that was in transit, I think there's like 10 days or so that they will still hold it, but there's no P.O. box anymore, just so everyone knows.
Because they've been brought into Georgia. They've been working, right?
Who's that?
The federal authorities.
In terms of human trafficking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah?
So, they'll know who I am. They'll know who my name is.
Okay.
I have evidence and I have proof of things that are going on.
Officer,
What's up, man?
would there be any way you could push the button, the ignition button on that vehicle to turn off the accessory so the battery don't die?
Oh, is it not running?
No, they're not supposed to be in. They're not supposed to be in there.
Is it running?
Is it not running?
I
I don't think it's running, but
I don't think it's running, but
We'll handle that in just
we
a
need
moment.
the car because all of the evidence and all my paperwork's in there.
Okay.
And my laptop to prove everything, all my evidence is in there.
Okay.
It's so interesting that she thinks her conspiracies are evidence. I'm curious what the paperwork is that she thinks is evidence in her favor. Alted Undying says, you saw me through all of this, so I want to pay you back for helping me stay happy. Last one. Oh, well, thank you, Altered Undying. It's much appreciated.
may I smoke?
Not right now. Not right now. Just hang tight. Let him finish his investigation. I'm here as merely just,
Yes, sir.
standing by. So,
What's she being arrested for here? Murder! This is the murder arrest.
I'll relay.
I don't think they're being too gentle. She's just, what do you want them to do? They're just waiting. They're already arresting them. They're not running away. What do you mean they're being too gentle? They're not doing anything. Do you want the cops to just start beating on people just cuz? What the fuck? No. Wrong answer, Felix. What the fuck?
You can't transfer me over state lines while I have communication with federal, Well, there's somebody who's states.
Yes, so. I was out like a jump.
We can probably get to the interrogation in just a sec. Alright. Let's go to the interrogation then. This is gonna be interesting. So, they took her in. They booked her. This is the interrogation. I already skipped through the first part, so they did read her Miranda rights and everything. I just skipped past that because it's boilerplate.
So, what would you like to talk to us about?
Well, I want to first start out and I want to find out what, and there's bigger things.
Did they do murder? They did do murder.
going on. And I know there's bigger things going on, and I want to know, first of all, if E-Clause has ever been, if there's any kind of, like, would y'all know about military intelligence? The FBI would know about that, correct?
It depends.
So she is under the impression that all of her QAnon conspiracies are real, that the person she murdered was part of the deep state cabal, and that she has secret insider information that the FBI agent in front of her is also privy to. So she thinks she's talking to him like, I know the secrets, wink wink. And of course he's gonna go, what the fuck are you talking about? Because none of these conspiracies are real, and that's going to be shocking to her.
On what it is.
So
We don't work hand in hand with the military as far as on a daily operational basis, obviously.
y'all are like with the CIA.
Correct. She has not stopped thinking like this. Vice did an interview with her that was pretty brief. Well, she has, I believe, accepted that the person she shot was not involved in any of this stuff. She still believes in the global child trafficking QAnon stuff, like, writ large.
Huh.
Y'all moved your offices to Denver, right? Out of the headquarters were moved from Washington to Denver.
No.
No?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Well, that's
So-
wrong information that I was given at one point, but
The internet lied to her. Oh my god! Is the internet allowed to do that?
Do you know what the CIA is?
Central Intelligence Agency.
What do they do?
They deal with like things like national security,
Okay.
or they try to see if threats from other countries, you know what I'm saying, or if other countries were involved.
So in a layman's term, to make it a little easy, the CIA is information gatherers from other countries. They don't do anything domestically on the United States.
They
That's
do.
us.
Okay.
So CIA runs operations overseas and in other countries.
But FBI is just purely
We're domestic.
the things that are going on. But so y'all don't really look into things that were going on. If something's going on with like other countries, like foreign.
It depends. Also, there again, it depends. If there's a foreign threat into the country, yes, we'll investigate that.
Okay.
If there's foreign actors in our country
That are doing stuff.
then we look at that.
Okay. Well, that's really what I need looked at. I need to find out what was going on because
She does not know what is happening at all right now. She's like, her attitude is, all right, I'm finally in front of an FBI agent. Now give me the answers I need. It has not sunk into her at all that she is charged with murder. She murdered a man, and she's not contextualized that within reality yet. In her reality, she shot an evil member of the cabal, and that's justifiable to her, morally and legally. She does not understand here in reality, she is just a murderer who murdered a person, and now she's talking to a cop. She does not understand the seriousness of the situation or how much trouble she is in. She is asking for things from the FBI.
Let me back this up again.
Okay.
Okay? You're not going to find out anything about what's going on if there's an investigation.
Okay.
We don't bring information to you. And I'm not trying to say this.
I think a lot of this comes from the QAnon, like, axiom that we're all watching a movie. Because in a movie, if you shot someone that was like a secret undercover evil agent and then you got arrested, that would kind of be the moment that the world at large, this secret underground battle, would be opened to you. Like, oh, you know the secret, so we're going to let you in, and now you're part of the white hats officially. She thinks that's what's going to happen. And of course it doesn't, because that's not reality. None of that battle that she is imagining happening is true.
Be mean or disrespectful or anything else, but we don't provide information to people.
Okay.
We work investigations and we prosecute investigations, or we gather the intelligence to later prosecute or make an arrest. But we don't provide
Maybe
that.
she's attempting to build an insanity defense. I don't think so. She did end up trying a temporary insanity defense. It failed. But I don't think she's trying to build an insanity defense here. I think she's genuinely delusional. But even delusional people can know the difference between right and wrong, and within the context of the fantasy that she created, it is still morally, legally wrong to murder someone. So there's pretty specific tests for whether or not someone can do an insanity defense, and I don't think she really fell under it, which is probably why it didn't work.
That information back. If you're a victim in a crime, we don't provide information even to the victims. We work our investigations separate.
So it's completely separate. So, like, if there was something going on, there's no way that I can find that out for...
You're not going to find out from any law enforcement agency.
Hydrate, will do.
Nobody's going to provide you information.
At all. Even if I was a victim or there was something going on.
If you were a victim, we would get you victim services. But we're not going to tell you what we're actively doing in our investigations, no.
Okay. So that's really what I really need to figure out. Because I need to figure out if I was a victim.
I need to figure out if I was a victim. Here's the thing. You were the victim of someone committing fraud against you, but instead of going to the police, you shot him to death, which you're not allowed to do. I know it's upsetting when someone scams you. I think that guy was a piece of shit. Legally, you are not allowed to go shoot the guy because of it. You would need to try and get a case started, file a police report. You cannot just go shoot the guy.
And what else was going on, you know, with E-Clause, because I have a lot of evidence and I have a lot of proof that some very, very unlawful things were going on.
And your answer to this unlawful activity you believe you had physical evidence for was not to take that evidence to the police, it was to shoot the guy.
With E-Clause?
Yes.
Okay, what is E-Clause?
So
Like, he could literally actually be a child trafficker, and it would still be illegal to go into his house and shoot him to death. Does she not get it?
E-Clause is a corporation out of, it was Ocala, Florida, and it stands for the Emolument Clause, which, you know, that's why they tried to impeach Trump on the Emolument Clause. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? Just a sentence ender. Fennikagami with 40 bits says, honestly, if the Epstein files are anything to go by, not to mention the naked corruption we see these days, if the guy she murdered was part of the, quote, cabal, no one would induct her into the white hats because sadly no one's fighting the corrupt predators who run the world. Everyone with the power to do it are complicit with said predators.
So that's what it stands for, Emolument Clause.
Okay.
So, there's many people that have gone to jail, that are in jail. They say that it's part of the Sovereign Citizens group or Sovereign Citizens movement. I know that there were two people that were, I think it was like 2 or 4 that were the people that were just arrested in Michigan for trying to say we're going to hurt the governor. The people with E-Clause knew those guys. It's literally like, it was spread out. So what I know is, what I was told is that it was systematically designed to do a certain thing, right? Like when they started the corporation. So like, for instance, there was a case in Utah, which we know Utah's where Silicon Valley is.
What? Isn't Silicon Valley in California? What?
That's where, like, you know. So, anyways, it was systematically designed, each thing. So there was a case in Utah, there was a case in Texas, And I believe I was a victim of crimes, and
what crimes do you believe you're the victim of?
well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because
In my attempt to figure out how I was victimized, I shot a guy. Mark Ride says, I was driving and listening, heard you gifted, just saw an activity. I got one, thanks. Oh, to Altered Undying. Yep, thanks Altered Undying for doing those subs.
what I've got is, and again, I can't talk about too much. Like you said, I don't want to go into the case and what happened, you know what I'm saying, of what happened and why I have the certain, you know what I'm saying, because that's going to be in the state, that's going to have to come out in the state thing. But like I said, there's reason to believe I was the person who was over the group. So I literally, on Facebook, there was a group, and it was the E-Cause group. And so I had been a part of it I was the moderator, right? Like, I was the one that did, accepted people. I would have to go through, you know what I'm saying? It was like
any chat moderators, please don't kill me.
A full-time
I'd really appreciate it.
Job. Okay, and I watched the group grow. Okay, so it started out very little, and then at one point we were getting, 50 to, we were getting a lot of requests. So, and it's people from all over, from different kinds of groups, and that's why I say that I think it was
Chitara says, big responsibility, that one.
The systematic, it would be political, right? But when there's people and victims, right, that are going to jail and things that are happening, they were putting me on the news with this QAnon, all this QAnon stuff that's going on.
What is QAnon?
Well, from what I know is that it was a military intelligence operation, and it started underground on like the dark, or like the different in the different parts of the internet, and then it
4chan. It started on 4chan. It did not start on the dark web.
Slowly moved up to mainstream.
Does he not know? No, he's just asking questions. I would imagine he's vaguely familiar with what QAnon is, but he's trying to get her view on what it is so he can get he's laying basic groundwork for further questions.
I think that there is a connection between whoever this Q is, whoever these people were that posted. I think there was a connection between Q, whoever was able to do it, and E-Clause. And I have the evidence to prove that.
What do you mean there's a connection?
Well, E-Clause, he told me that there was things that were going on with artificial intelligence that...
Oh, yeah, Chris Howlet claimed that he created an AI that the government stole and was starting to use to kidnap children to traffic through CPS. So, yeah, that's part of the claims he made that she believes.
And
to be clear, he claims he invented this AI back in, the 70s or something.
He had designed algorithms for systems for corporations. So before the internet, was out, there were systems that were designed, right? And he basically, he said that the system that he had designed was weaponized by the family courts. So the courts were using his system that he designed, okay, and they weaponized.
Why would he invent something like that? It doesn't make actual sense. It makes narrative sense, though. Can't you imagine in a movie? I'm sure we've seen this trope many times. It's like the Frankenstein trope, almost. Maybe not quite Frankenstein. There's probably a better comparison. But the idea of you create something and someone else co-ops it and uses it for evil, and you become a part of the crusade to make things right for what you did accidentally. That's a trope that exists in fiction, so it's compelling to people. That's a narrative that we connect with. But obviously not true in this case.
The family courts. So he had to go in and put an antivirus.
Like Val Kilmer in Real Genius. Yes, thank you. That's the point of comparison. Like many of the kids in Real Genius, that was a big part of Real Genius, is there was also the older student who like lived below their dorm and also created military things. And then there was a lot of popcorn. Anyway.
Into the...
What year was this? Let me see if it says in the... I don't see in the description.
Systems to fix what was going to fix, I guess.
You don't think you've seen that movie? It's okay. It's like an 80s college comedy thing where all the kids are super smart. It's fine.
What had happened, or maybe to try to reverse it, or, you know.
So, how was the system that he developed weaponized by the family courts?
They said that he said that they took it and they basically weaponized the system, like they started using it for something that it wasn't intended to use for.
What was it intended for, though? I assume he never filled in that part of the story.
Such as?
Such as taking kids unlawfully. Through Title IV.
So wait, how is a computer system developed with algorithms making a judge decide what to do?
Well, it was not the judge. It was the system that the family courts were using, the computer systems that they would be using to do all of the information.
I'm kind of fascinated by the idea that I've noticed that some people seem to have more specific maps of the world than other people. We all sort of project our model of the world, right? No one can have all the information on what's going on at the world at all times, or even any of the time. We are limited in the amount of information we know about the world just based on practicality. So we take what we do know about the world or believe about the world and we kind of build out a model of how it works. And when inconsistencies happen in stories, in narratives, in events in real life, we're able to check against that model and say, wait a minute, that doesn't make a lot of sense. How does that work? We understand that there's an A to B to C to things. But someone like her, it feels like they have a general model of the world, but it's not sharp. It's very blurry, and the specifics aren't there. It's like it's a much broader, vaguer, vibes-based model of the world where they don't really question the specifics and contradictions. And I wonder why that is with some people. I see it a lot with conspiracy theorists. It feels like their models of the world are inconsistent, blurry, mushy, non-specific, vibes-based. I do not understand it, and I don't know how they go through life like that.
Like when they enter in all the information.
What information?
Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, so the group decision-making thing is part of how you would teach programming back in the day. My dad tried to teach it to me in the 90s. Oh, okay.
You know, I guess the information with like case numbers and how they were doing something with case numbers. So, like I said, something definitely is going on.
Have you been through a divorce court?
Family court.
You've been through divorce family court?
I was never married, but I went through family court.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what?
Well, do you want to know what happened?
No, I'm trying.
My daughter was stolen the very first day.
Okay.
However, walked into court, and there was literally no evidence. There was no evidence on me that was filed. There was nothing. And
what was the reasoning that was provided that your daughter was taken from you? Who has your daughter?
Paternal grandmother.
Okay.
But she's still getting state funds because that's what happens. They place them with, you know what I'm saying? The states are still getting money from the federal government.
Okay. And what was the reasoning behind when they took your daughter?
There was no reasoning, and I have all of this evidence.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
They didn't say that you were deemed unfit to be a mother?
Never. I've never been deemed unfit to be a mother. My parental rights still have not even...
The fact that the custody is in someone else kind of deems that that's not true. The court found you did something, You're being vague about what it was.
Had been terminated.
Okay. Well,
But they used...
what state was this in?
This was in South Carolina. But what they did is they used my case, okay, because of what happened to me in the arrest, because I was unlawfully arrested May 2nd, 2013. They arrested me for custodial interference, but I had physical custody of my daughter. We had been trial. I got physical custody, okay? Legal custody was staying with the paternal grandmother. We came up with an agreement, but my daughter was not in school. So what happened was the federal law stated, there was definitions in the federal law. It defined what legal custody is and what physical custody is, okay? The attorney said, well, you're protected under federal law because legal custody is only like when you're going to a hospital and you're trying to make decisions, or if Mackenzie would have been in school.
I would bet thousands of dollars that no attorney told you it was legal for you to kidnap your children from the person they are in the custody of when you do not have custody. I would bet money no lawyer told you that.
You know, well, it said that
they're with their grandma. She thinks the cabal sent her kids to their granny's house. That's one of the funnier things, too. They didn't go to some foster home. They went to one of her closest family members. What is she talking about?
that the legal custody was only supposed to, she was only supposed to hold legal custody for 3 months or less, okay? Mackenzie wasn't in school, wasn't worried about it. You know, I was like, okay, well, this will be over with. Make a long story short, my daughter came down to Florida. We were in Jacksonville.
Nice,
she disclosed she was being sexually abused, okay? Her exact words to me was, Mommy, Daddy stuck his wee-wee in my...
Is she calling the Sovsit guru an attorney? Yes. Yes, she is. You're right. I wasn't thinking. Of course she's talking about the Sovsit.
And it was sticky like glue, okay?
Sorry, paternal grandmother. My bad. I apologize. Ex's mom.
I called DSS, right? Because I didn't know. I called him in Florida and I said, somebody needs to come out and talk to my daughter. I need to know why she's saying this, okay? They came out, they talked to her, they said, we think something's going on. We want to get her in for a forensic interview. So they did.
Was Nick Rakita her attorney?
The interview.
I don't know, we'll have to check the scene for cocaine. Stone Corbell, thanks for a 20-stream streak.
She was being sexually abused, but they said since there was a final order in South Carolina, they could not do anything. They couldn't go into the court in Florida, and this was DSS, and get me, like, protect Mackenzie. And I was like, well, what do I do? You know, I was pregnant at the time. I was due to give birth, so it wasn't like I could be traveling back and forth between South Carolina and Florida, you know. So anyways, his attorney contacted the judge in South Carolina and said, you know, hey, Neely's not returning Mackenzie. Didn't tell the judge why I wasn't returning Mackenzie, okay? The judge had issued an ex parte order. It was literally called an ex parte order to all law enforcement officers, okay? They ordered, right, the physical custody and the legal custody to be transferred back to the paternal grandmother. Well, in South Carolina, the statutes state that the only way a final order can be changed is on a motion for substantial circumstances. There was never a motion filed into court. I never to this day went to court on the ex parte order. You're supposed to...
Okay, that's probably not good that you didn't go if you were supposed to. Stone Corbell, thanks for a 20-stream streak, says hello, and M. Scheffler with a 15-stream streak says hi, all. Hey, how you both doing?
Go within 10 days. What? Where you...
I
never went to court on the ex parte order.
Because you were in Florida.
Right. So they ended up getting Mackenzie back on May 31st, 2012.
So law enforcement showed up where you were in Jacksonville, took custody of your child.
No, law enforcement actually didn't want to do it because they said there is an injunction. Went back to the court and filed an injunction to protect Mackenzie until the police
Florida or South Carolina?
In Florida, to protect Mackenzie.
M. Scheffler says, mind your business. I don't know what that's in reference to.
Until it could be investigated, right? Because the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office said they had to work with the Charleston Sheriff's Office. So because the crime happened in Charleston. So on May 31st, basically in front of the judge had called up, the judge in South Carolina, so she knew that the ex parte was ordered. Well, Mary walks out of the courthouse. I was up talking to the judge. She walks out with my daughter. I turn around, Mackenzie's gone. She left the courthouse, went back up to South Carolina.
Who's Mary?
Mary is paternal grandmother.
Okay, thank you.
She blocked me from calling, okay, blocked everything, and I had babies June 8th, so like a week later, I had a C-section. She cut off all forms of communication with me. I didn't see my daughter for almost a year. Every time I would go up to South Carolina, I hired an attorney. Every time I'd go up to South Carolina...
This story makes no sense. It's coming from an unreliable narrator, so that would be why. She seems to not understand that it seems like these people don't really want her in contact with the children, probably because she's a little unhinged at the best of times. Like, she clearly has, like, mental health problems. So I'm wondering if that's why, and she just doesn't get it. Gitara says, without any evidence of how this turned out, it feels like she tried to weaponize her kid against her ex by accusing him of SA in an attempt to make the paternal grandma the unfit guardian. Even if that worked, wouldn't the kid just get placed in foster care instead of back with a mom who was deemed unfit previously? Correct, she wouldn't get the kid back because of that.
They'd be like, well, this doesn't make any sense. You have custody for a final order. This ex parte, no one could explain what this ex parte order was. And even the attorneys would say, this is not even supposed to be in existence. It's like more or less like a bill of attainder, right?
Yeah, she's definitely talking about SOBSIT people when she's saying attorney for some of these things. A bill of attainder, that's a thing SOBSITs call stuff all the time, even when it's not.
Shouldn't have ever happened the way it happened. It's like, we don't have King's Court here. We're not in Great Britain. We don't have a King's Court. We have due process of law, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, that's how all that started. Well, I ended up getting arrested on May 2nd, 2013. It had been almost a year. I hired an attorney. Nobody would help. I couldn't get any answers from anybody. Nobody would tell me, like...
I notice with people like this, when they say you don't get any answers, the reality is usually they were given answers, but they were answers they didn't like, so it went in one ear and out the other. Sarah Boone is a lot like this, the suitcase murderer. There are just some people that'll be like, I won't get any answers, but they've been given answers hundreds of times. It's just an answer they don't like.
I had one attorney say, I can't fight against these people because apparently they don't just issue ex parte orders every day, right? So I went and picked up Mackenzie. I had been told by police officers, like, you have custody, you know what I'm saying, during these days, and physical custody is defined in federal law as the physical care and control of the child, you know? So, went and picked her up. I got arrested. They arrested me, okay? They laid it on me. They laid it on me with the charges. They tried to change one of the charges to, like, transporting a child under the age of 16 years old pending a custody order and not returning within 72 hours. I've literally been fighting for my kid, for my daughter, to this day right now. Like, I still, there's a uncle that still could be hurting her. He's had her in New York City, okay, around all of these satanic worship that are hanging with this.
No, there's the Satanism stuff. It only took 23 minutes into the interrogation to get into satanic cults running the world. That's not too bad.
All these people that are related with Jeffrey Epstein, okay? He's had her in New York City. He's friends with the
Epstein wasn't a Satanist. He was a capitalist. Much worse.
He's gay and a trans, so he has sex with, like...
Wait, who's gay and a trans, quote?
Okay? He's had her in New York City. He's friends with he's gay and a trans, so he has sex.
He's gay and a trans. Cool.
With, like, all the people that are with Kim Kardashian or Khloe Kardashian, they're all in a big, you know, they're all hang out, right?
who is the gay trans person who hangs out with the Kardashians?
Do all these things to all
I missed who's the subject of the sentence.
these kids. So my daughter is still in a potential thing that this could be going on. She's practically raised herself. Like, they would leave her at the house by herself, okay? She's been in a bad situation, and I've literally been fighting, right, for her since 2010, since she was 1.5. She's 12 now, okay? When I was arrested from her, my mom left Florida, went to Kentucky. Okay, they told my mom, foster care, said that if she didn't take the twins from, because I have 3 daughters, if she didn't take the twins from me, they were going to take the twins from me. We all know that foster care, it's got major, major, major issues, okay?
Okay, the issues with foster care aren't satanic child trafficking, though. I think your assessment of the situation is askew. Just a Peach with a $1 tip says, I've been watching custody cases and ex parte orders happen a lot when parents don't show up. And Gitara says it sounds like she mentioned the paternal uncle, brother of X. Gotcha.
Major issues. Kids they're coming out with newspaper articles every day. There's huge things on human trafficking right now, okay? There's a lot of stuff that's going on with human trafficking. I'm trying to find out what... I know for a fact that E-Clause was working with people that were not from this country, from Great Britain, okay? I have evidence of all this stuff, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly was going on.
Why did you shoot the guy before you knew what was going on? What a strange like, even within her delusion, why shoot him first and then figure it out later? This is nuts. Even within her delusional fantasy, she's nuts.
Connected to human trafficking, and I'm trying to figure out.
Did I notice she got arrested for essentially trafficking her daughter? The irony of QAnon never stops. Oh, I know.
I went to the FBI when all this was going on back in Pennsylvania because I was mistakenly released from jail. They have used my stories. The news has weaponized my story. They've passed legislation. They passed legislation, all the school legislation down in South Carolina, because they made all the schools like be locked up, which is not terribly a bad thing, but still, they've used my cases as politically backed things. Nikki Haley signed a governor's warrant after I was mistakenly released from jail. Okay, I was picked up in Pittsburgh. The judge let me out at first, and then they came and, got me again. It's been an ongoing. I have pictures of Nikki Haley and the judge in Kentucky together. Why is the little judge in Kentucky that had something to do with taking my twins from me? It was a picture of Nikki Haley at the Republican convention. It's not a coincidence.
Sounds like that judge went to the Republican convention and got a photo with the politician? How does that not immediately your conclusion? Lots of people get photos with celebrities or politicians they like. You think this is evidence of a conspiracy? This is so similar to the meme stock people and how they think the photo of, like, Ryan Cohen with Carl Icahn means that Icahn is in on the GameStop play. Very weird.
Coincidence.
Okay.
It's not a coincidence.
Have you?
So.
Okay. During. So I take it biological father of your daughter is in the home with grandmother, correct?
He was. I just recently found out he left and went to Colorado with some girl.
Okay.
He's gotten another girl pregnant.
How old are you?
I am 34.
34. And at any point in your life have you ever received...
Really weird how derisively she said, got another girl pregnant. Like, okay, he's allowed to do that. That could be an intentional thing, you know? People do have children intentionally on occasion.
Psychiatric treatment.
What do you mean I've been deemed that I've had psychiatric evaluations that have all said that I'm...
Have you ever, in Florida it's called the Baker Act, have you ever been Baker?
No.
So have you ever been treated in a mental health facility?
And and they all said that I'm fine, that there's nothing...
Every mental institution I've been admitted to says I'm fine.
And wrong.
Okay, but
like
you were
when
treated.
I was younger, my mom when I was underage, my mom was mad at I wanted to go out with a boyfriend, and she was mad, so she called and had me go to the hospital. And there's nothing, no. Have I ever been treated for any kind?
They don't send you to the institution for no reason, hon. Oh, Bong the Ripper. Thanks for 54 months. Says, wow, 54 months. Is that a sub baby? It is. This sub baby is going to be Santa E-Claus. Because E-Claus... I've been doing this for years. You can't expect the names to be good anymore.
I know, have ever been deemed that anything's wrong with me? No.
Okay, so, but
I'm very smart. I know what has been going on. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? There's other things that are going on. I know, and I wish I could tell you everything that had happened with actually what's going on with my case right now. But
let me ask you about another name, and if it involves your current case, just tell me.
Okay.
We can't talk about it. Paul Knowles. Is there a Paul Knowles?
there is, I don't think that that's his real name.
Okay.
That's not his real name. That's a Facebook name. But why do you say?
Because I was told that from the agent that called me that said that you wanted to talk to the FBI.
Oh, no, he's not a bad guy or anything. He's not, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, but you're dating, or you were dating, or seeing his brother?
No.
There's a Knowles that you were seeing, right?
Why is this even getting brought up? What did the agent say about?
He mentioned your name and something about the Paul Knowles that you may have information about. And I'm like, okay. That's what I was trying to figure out.
I need to figure out what's going on with if it's a military intelligence investigation.
Okay, so having been in the military, okay, you're familiar with what's called the Posse Comitatus Act, right?
Yes.
Okay, so military is not allowed to conduct intelligence gathering on U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. They're not allowed to. They don't do that. Military intelligence is about where our threats, or where the threats are for the safety and security of the country.
Okay.
So there would be no military intelligence operation or investigation. None of that would be handled by military intelligence inside the continental United States.
So being that Chris had said that on numerous occasions, like on the show, because they did a show called Kirk's Law Corner, right, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night.
Pretty sure that's been wiped from the internet, by the way.
So all of that's basically he was just blowing smoke up everyone's ass?
Pretty much, because he wasn't even a legal attorney.
It was in this moment she realized she fucked up.
So, is there something specific that you...
It really does feel like there was a click there for her, doesn't it? Like, oh no.
wanted to tell us, or is this just something that you were...
Wannabe says, this is getting close to the maximum stupidity I can handle in a week. How do you do this all the time? I'm very mentally unwell.
Hoping to find out information about...
No, I'm fascinated by Delusion. I find it entertaining. It's certainly frustrating, but I also find it fascinating. I can't not look at it.
Certain things.
Yeah, I was just really trying to let, someone know that I had information, that there is, I have information, I have evidence of things that he has filed and stuff, and really just trying to get to the bottom of what exactly has been going on. But you just said you can't tell me, and even if there was an investigation going on, you can't tell me anything.
So you're talking about, now you're referring back to Chris.
The E-Clause.
Who he was part of.
Right, the corporation.
And which was started by... a real attorney. I've seen his documents and paperwork that he's filed and tried to file, and it's horrific. So as far as the other stuff that's going on, I don't know. I have no clue with any of that stuff. I don't know what kind of group that y'all formed and communicated about and all this. I don't know.
I think I was used because he used my
Did you pay him?
I've paid him before.
Okay. I mean, have you ever heard of these? Were you ever getting these robocalls?
Yes.
And they're like, your social security number is being suspended and you're going to be put in jail unless you pay. Can you go get these green dot cards? Can you go here and get these and give me the numbers? It's all bullshit. Same thing.
Or if you don't transfer $1,000 by green dot card, the FBI is going to come kick down your door and arrest you for tax evasion. That's a lie too.
Everybody has
frauds.
Yeah, everybody has their own scams and schemes and everything else. He played on the hearts of everybody else that's had their kids taken just like he had his taken. He was not fit to be a parent, and apparently there's a whole lot of other people that got involved in this as well. I'm not saying that's what happened in your case. I don't know your case.
What's green dot? It's like a card you can put money on.
Seems like this has been going on for a long time. And I don't know what all your other arrests are. I didn't even pull a criminal history on you. I came here solely because somebody told me that you wanted to talk to the FBI and had information about sovereign citizens, E-clause, and all this other stuff, which to me I think is all fucking horseshit. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or mean to you.
Right. Well, it's just the fact that, it's going, it's even the thing with the Q stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, now it's turned into this huge thing. They're talking about them, and, it's political, right?
Oh, she is still so confused.
It's all, quite frankly, hogwash. Like, there's no other polite way for me to say it. It is a conspiracy that doesn't exist.
And they're just...
It is a made-up thing. This is like talking about that's gone down these rabbit holes and has made these connections that are not necessarily logical, true, or anything else. And he's said these things that there's some kind of military intelligence operation on U.S. soil about whatever. Not true.
Weaponizing a computer system.
I find this fascinating because this is the most directly I've ever seen a sovereign citizen or QAnon believer directly faced with someone telling them they're wrong. And it's not a situation where they can just get up and leave. It's not the internet where they can just block someone or call them slurs. She just has to accept listening to this because she's being interrogated by a cop. And it seems like she's somewhat receptive to it, shockingly. I can't imagine what it must feel like after doing one of the most significant things in your entire life, in this case, her killing someone, and then immediately after your entire reality melting away because you found out it was all bullshit. Wow. What a fucked up day she had. Maybe not as fucked up of a day as Chris, but, don't scam crazy people. It's a lot safer.
To have kids removed is horseshit. It's horseshit.
No.
That's all.
That's
all made up.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of? Did you like movies?
Mm-hmm.
You know who Mel Gibson is?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the movie Conspiracy Theory?
I've not seen that movie, surprisingly.
No, that's one I didn't watch.
Well, so
hopefully,
you're not going to be watching movies. What?
This guy made shit up in his head and believed it to be true, and he was able to make things fit into his own theory by actual events that took place. A lot of people like this that set up frauds and scams take other
Ashley says, I'm surprised she hasn't accused the guy of being part of the cabal, right?
pieces of it and bring it into the conversation. And then it starts becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, there's this big old conspiracy theory going on, and all y'all are dealing with, most of the people that's all part of this group are dealing with the fact that their kids were removed, or my buddy's kids were removed and it wasn't right, or this person's kids were removed. It's all about the same thing.
Right.
How is that going into a political theory, and how is this making it to where we're trying to get Trump out of office, or this senator at the Republican convention is meeting with this judge, because everybody goes to these. We're at them.
A Beautiful Mind is an interesting depiction. That's a depiction of schizophrenia, but I do like that movie. It's a little sappy, and it's not accurate necessarily to how schizophrenia appears in most people, but it's an entertaining movie.
Thousands of people.
If a bit schmaltzy.
But how is that related to anything with you and your children? Seriously.
Although you're right, he believes conspiracy theories because of his schizophrenia in that movie with the agency and the thing under his skin. Absolutely.
Seriously think about how is that related to you?
What does Nikki Haley have to do anything with you?
Well, I did find, they said that the United Nations,
Who
right?
is they?
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Good.
The United Nations, because they've talked about this, you know, Agenda 21, I'm sure.
Is it like the Rain Man of schizophrenia? That's the perfect way to describe it, yes. And I like Rain Man as a movie, too. Is it the best depiction of a certain thing? No, not broadly, but whatever.
Y'all heard of that?
Go ahead.
Okay, Agenda 21 and the United Nations, and how basically...
The United Nations is a diplomatic venue where countries come to discuss things. They don't have binding powers on places like the United States. The United States is on the Security Council, and they get to do whatever the fuck they want.
There was, with Nikki Haley, I found it, you know...
Okay, so this is the theory that says that the United States government is going to concede government of the United States to the United Nations. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because isn't the United Nations, weren't they on our soil with...
Yes, they have headquarters in New York City. How, again, this is another one of these wacky, like, I don't understand. No.
I should point out that Chris, who she killed, claimed that... You know what? Actually, no. This is a David Straight belief. I was also listening to David Straight today. David Straight, I believe, claims that the UN owns Manhattan. David Straight claimed that the UN owned the entirety of the island of Manhattan.
Nobody outside this group understands where this comes from, because that's not, the United Nations has minimal power to do anything. It is a way for governments of countries to communicate.
Yep.
That's what it's for. And it's a way for that's what it's for.
No,
Think about it as one big chat board.
Well,
yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It's not a global government.
That, plus it also provides funding in some of the third world countries to give them extra support.
Yes.
With police and tactical support.
Yeah, police, farming, all kind of stuff.
We use them a lot when we would do our overseas stuff. But again, has nothing to do with child custody. Nothing. Whatsoever. I'm not saying that you're not smart. I'm thinking you got wrapped up in a bunch of conspiracy.
If you gotta say, I'm not saying you're not smart.
Theories. And what you believe you have evidence of is just evidence of made-up conspiracy theories.
So when he would say that he filed stuff, you know,
he filed it where? Not in our federal courthouse. Nothing.
Not in Ocala.
Nope.
Yeah, he's explaining it pretty well, all things considered.
At all.
No.
Profane Priestess says, we wish the UN was as powerful and benevolent as conspiracy types think it is. Agreed.
I think I have had a federal case number on something, but you're saying there's nothing even there. It's been a lot, and it's still not, you know what I'm saying? It's wrong, right? What's happening, and you know what I'm saying? It's wrong because They shouldn't be allowed to be doing, it's unauthorized practice of law.
Dear?
Yes, and you shot someone. That's unauthorized practice of law. That's illegal. You shot him. You didn't shoot him once. You shot him with all of the rounds in the gun. Are we really here to talk about what's illegal?
You just admitted a while ago that you were the moderator for the group that was online communicating.
But this was
and bringing
3 years
people to the
ago.
go.
This was 3 years, this was 3 years ago. But what do you, as a mom, right, that's had her kid, that no one will help, she's being sexually abused. Not only sexually abused, she was medically abused. I have binders and binders.
There's no evidence of that, to be clear. That's all, I think, part of her delusion.
I understand what your frustrations are, but that's not...
You said she still believes this nonsense even after this. Did she say anything about the FBI guys? Not that I saw.
For us in federal law.
Yeah, but when it was a federal law that was supposed to protect, the definitions...
It's not a federal law. It's a ruling.
No, but the definitions in the words...
We're not attorneys. Those are issues for attorneys. Okay?
But I can
you're right. It probably means she got vaccinated. That's probably true.
No, there's no federal laws right now.
I think this was around 2023 or so vaccines would have been out and stuff. Might have been 2022, I'm not sure.
That we are going to enforce for custody. That is all done at the civil court at state level, not here.
But these are not civil courts because you don't...
Family court is civil. It's not criminal.
But what about when they turn it into criminal? Like they did my case. They turned it into criminal.
So when you have, this is, I'm going to make you need to talk to an attorney about all this, okay? What I have dealt with, though, is when there's a state, just like what you described, there's court rulings in South Carolina, there's court rulings in Florida that are conflicting. You have to get those out-of-state court orders domesticated. So say I would have gotten divorced, my wife, right, takes my child and goes to Indiana, all right? In the state of Florida, I get a judge that says all law enforcement, that ex parte order, what you're talking about, law enforcement officers give control of this child to dad, okay? I get in the car, I drive up to Indiana, I go to the local courthouse in Indiana, and I say, here's my legal packet, I need to have it domesticated. What that means is, now Indiana is going to...
She did not, in fact, get a real attorney. She may have had one for a short period of time, because I think in an interview I saw, she did mention an attorney, but when it came to the actual trial, apparently she decided to be her own attorney, which of course is a terrible decision, and I think she got life in prison.
Force and recognize the state ruling in the state of Florida.
Okay. I've heard of domestication.
All right. So, and then Indiana will look at it and they will make a decision. Okay. So, something tells me, all right, that in the background, there were other facts around your case, all right, that we're not being told about in this room, okay?
But I have...
I'm just... There's something else out there that we are not being told about in this room for what have happened. Whether it's a matter of a function of how things played out, or a court order, or something.
It's actually probably a lot worse. It's a lot worse.
Something occurred that we don't know about as the two of us sitting here in this room. The issue that becomes is that is not an issue for the FBI. That is an issue that is not an issue for an FBI.
But you have proof that this child was sexually molested?
Yes, the state of Florida deemed that she was being sexually molested.
The state of Florida did, or they said that there's something to look into?
No, the state of Florida deemed that she was being sexually molested.
How?
By her father.
How?
How did they make that decision?
Through when they did the forensic interview.
Okay. So then...
Children and Family Services, yes.
So then, if they said that yes, this child was molested and we got proof of this and blah, 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 then there will be an arrest warrant out for his arrest.
But the crime actually occurred in South Carolina, so the arrest warrant would have to be issued in South Carolina.
Right, but they would pass that to South Carolina.
Yep.
And then there'd be a
jurisdiction.
Right. So, again, I can't charge a hands-on offense federally. If he came to me tomorrow and says, hey, I just molested my 6-year-old daughter, okay, you're a fucking weirdo, but I can't do nothing about it. I can't charge it. Federally, we do not have a charge for hands-on offenses.
On hands-on offenses, you can.
Nope. Now, if you take pictures of it while you do it, or you video yourself doing it, I can charge you. But this is where the FBI and state and locals do not cross paths much. Because their hammer on the state side for that hands-on offense is 10 times better than anything else.
Okay.
It's a huge, huge, huge
Difference.
penalty. That's under the age of 10, it's a 25-year min-man capsize battery. In Florida, I don't know about in other states. Florida can wear them out.
Yeah, depending on the age of the kid, it can be mandatory life.
Right. I mean, it's huge. I can charge them for video in it. I can charge them for taking pictures of it. Can't charge them for touching. So.
Back in the day, when the federal government was the one that helped back in the war, in like the Civil War, and I was reading a history.
What are we getting into now?
History thing, but anyways, the whole thing has just been too much. It's been one thing after another.
It feels like she's about to say, "Can I go home now?"
You know, literally since 2010. You know, and it's like America, right? I always grew up, right? America's there's justice. You have justice in the court. I learned quite differently. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that's where I'm just want it all to be fixed.
Why would the conspiracy come after you?
Why would the what?
Why would the conspiracy come after you? Why would there be a conspiracy against you?
I don't think there is. I don't think there is.
Okay.
I think that sometimes in life...
No, she wasn't claiming she was in the Civil War. She was saying the federal government was helpful in Civil War times or before the Civil War. I don't know where she got that other than many sovereign citizens preferred the federal government prior to the Civil War because it was less powerful. Right? After the Civil War, it's true that it was a turning point where federal government kind of started to gain more and more power over state governments. That's not incorrect. But sovereign citizens take it to an extreme and act as though it was somehow illegal for the balance of power to change or whatever, so they just prefer how it used to be. Jitara says, okay, so big hole in her story is that bit about Florida finding her ex guilty of XA against a minor. If that were true, I feel like she wouldn't be sitting in an interrogation room, or at least her husband would be in jail or something. They're not going to find legally that he molested the kid and then not charge him. That wouldn't make any sense.
Right? You don't, necessarily people don't ask for something to happen to them. I'm not saying
that you asked it. I'm asking you, why would this conspiracy target you and your children?
I don't think it does. I think that I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, messed with the wrong people at the wrong time.
So why does paternal grandmother not like you?
She's never liked me.
From day one?
Day one.
Okay.
Day one. She's not like me. I think what it was my mom told me when we were in Georgia, because I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I grew up on Tybee Island, okay? She said, she wanted me, she was like, Neely, if he's going to not do it, you need to go file child support. Wrong thing. I should have never, you know what I'm saying? I should have walked away and been like, okay, if you're not going to have anything to do with it, I don't want anything from you. I don't need any money, you know what I'm saying? And that was the first thing, because as soon as grandmother found out, that I went and filed child support because she had put his dad through the same thing. It's like a systematic thing, I feel like, right?
How is it systematic?
I feel like in family, I feel like she felt bad for putting his dad through in and out of jail through child support,
Then he should have paid the child support? As if it's the mom's fault the dad doesn't pay the child support that's court-ordered? What?
So she saw how his dad was always in jail for not paying child support. So she saw the writing on the wall for her son. she didn't want Chad to be in and out of jail.
Do they have access to the library here?
I think to a limited extent, yes.
I can't go to the library. The guys can.
Well, what girls can go?
I think they bring them to them. It's because of her status, what she's from.
Okay.
They don't let any of the girls have it.
So, if you can get somebody to get you might want to get you some books on family law.
Right.
Family law.
I could be a family court attorney in South Carolina.
I would beg to differ.
But what I'm saying is,
You gotta graduate college and go to law school to do that.
That's what I'm being told that we need to do once all this is over with.
but you need to get past this other shit.
Right.
The conspiracy theory. You need to get past that. You need to go right back to the beginning and focus on that.
What happened
Because
at the beginning?
I can tell you right now, your thoughts are all over the map with some of this, and I know some of it is we can't talk about because of your case, and I don't want to go down that path. But I can tell you right now, 99% of this other stuff is bullshit. It's all conspiracy theory related, and you need to focus truly on your family law if there's something that you can do. Now, that might get your mind off of some of the other things and try to start figuring out some other stuff. And you could file a FOIA request, which is Freedom of
Information Act,
and get all of those documents and all of that paperwork, anything related to you and your name. You might want to wait on that, and in the meantime, focus on your own case.
Right.
Because from what I know of, what you're charged with here is a serious thing, and that might be something that you need to focus on first.
One question before. So anything that's going on with the computer systems, do y'all have jurisdiction over computer crimes?
She's just not listening at all.
Yes.
What extent?
Depends on what the crime is.
So if someone used a computer to hurt someone, would that be under your jurisdiction?
Are you talking about like picked up a computer and beat you to death with it?
No.
Okay.
So how would someone have used a computer to harm someone? You have to give us, we have to understand what you mean when you say that.
Well then that would kind of be getting into the
case.
Okay.
But
maybe after I can call and then.
Yep. We can come back and talk to you, but I can tell you this right now: if you use the internet, your cell phone, any type of device that connects to the internet, and you use it to defraud somebody, then yes, we can look into that. We can investigate it. If the fraud reaches a decent enough level. We have to pick and choose because we cannot work every single one of them. It is the #1 highest growing crime right now in the world.
Right.
Or if you use a computer to infiltrate a secure network, something like that.
A business email,
like
email
if they stop a
compromise.
911 call.
So I don't know if you can actually use that to hack into 911
What if I
and
have
stuff.
proof that it does? Could you look into that?
No, where you could.
Okay.
What?
So that would be a potential, and that may be something that you need to talk to your attorney about.
Right.
So focus on your case first. Get you some books on family law. Obviously, I mean,
Personal
states
custody
vary a
issues,
little bit
Rick.
from place to place, but you might want to focus on that. This other stuff. Foreign citizens are truly a group, and that's
all just bullshit.
no, some from place to place, but you might want to focus on that. This other stuff, I can tell you right now.
It's just all just bullshit.
No, sovereign citizens are truly a group, and they're an organized group, and yes, they have anti-government beliefs.
Yes.
Do they all act on it now? Do a bunch of them talk about it? Yeah. Are they waiting for the damn day for everybody to stand up and take arms and do a bunch of stupid shit? Probably. But is that day going to come? No, not likely.
Hopefully China doesn't invade us.
China ain't going to invade us.
What? What are you talking? That's a complete non sequitur. Hopefully China doesn't invade us. Woo! Phoenix says she's so hyper-focused on proving other people did crimes and seems not to understand that she committed the worst crime. Yes.
So, again, a lot of this stuff related to this group, they're bringing in other stuff to help add to their conspiracy theories.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, I'm not interested in looking at any of it. And I'm not trying to say that to be mean, I'm just not. I got enough other actual crimes happening right now that I need to deal with. And if there was something specific related to your case, that there was going to be a heinous crime committed, then yes, we would be interested. But this whole thing related to custody and kids and algorithms,
arming the computer system,
the weapon is all
yeah,
horseshit.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be mean about it, but it's horseshit. So
Okay.
take that brain of yours and focus on something else.
Okay. Well, I'm not focusing on it, and I'm just now focused on what, you know what I'm saying, what happened and why, what happened the night and why that happened.
Please don't get into
I
it.
know.
Okay? Because, like I said,
Because I've been on, like I said, I've been drugged down this for a long time. This has been, you know,
look,
I've been started in 2010, it's 2020, and all I've wanted to be is be a mom.
right. Well,
My child just reached out to me in August, the first time.
mhm.
She found my name on, I had sent her a Bible and a blanket, and she found my name on Amazon.
Kids love to receive Bibles. Sarah Boone did this to her kid, too. Got all Jesus-y in prison and started sending him Bible verses. As if your 14-year-old son gives a shit about your Jesus-y-ness that you picked up in prison. Really weird.
She's being kept away from me.
Mhm. Well, and again, that's something for another day. So, unfortunately, for the last 10 years of your life,
That's cringe. She was also citing scripture to him because she feels like he isn't calling enough or answering the phone when she calls, so she like quotes scripture at him. It's really gross.
being involved in all this stuff is not.
Well, it
Once
hasn't
you-
been 10 years. It's only been like 3, but...
Once you go down the rabbit hole, it's dark.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
So you've gone down this rabbit
I
hole and
have
it's all...
investigated more than an FBI agent.
Is this recent? I think it was like 2023, 2022, something like that.
Have you?
I could be a freaking FBI agent.
Delusional.
So you said you're in the process of hiring a private attorney?
I'm getting a private attorney.
Okay. Are you going to be able to pay for a private attorney?
My friends are. My best friend's a doctor here.
Okay. That's good.
So assuming
well,
a
I
lot
wish
of
you the
your
best of luck
friend.
with that. And once maybe this
Does
gets...
she understand how expensive a criminal attorney is for a murder charge? I think that's a lot to put on your friend, doctor or no.
resolved, you can feel free to reach back out to us.
Okay.
If you're here, and it gets wrapped up before, because I don't think they'll hold here, right? They don't keep them here, will they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If it's one of y'all charges, they'll go to a state pen? They stay here? Okay, well, even better. So just reach out for the jail investigator.
He knows how to get a hold of us.
And he knows Zach very well. I will probably not be here when all this gets wrapped up, but Zach will still be around.
Okay.
Chitara says this interrogator spent way more time talking about stuff not related to the actual charges than I would have. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think you guys...
I think this particular interview was meant to get a background on her beliefs, because I don't think this is the first time they spoke to her. I think they wanted to get a full interview on, like, the weird conspiracy bullshit she believes.
coming out and talking to me and, you know.
So do me a favor, stay here. We'll have somebody come get you and
Okay.
take you back.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Just ripping little pieces of paper. And that is it.
A QAnon supporter is representing herself in court years after she was accused of killing a man in Marion County. TV 20's Emma DeLamo
It's jailware.
shows us her reaction when her apparent taped confession was presented to the jury.
It was a day full of witness testimonies, including an emotional one between the defense and her sister. The day started with Neely Petrie-Blanchard claiming the trial was unfair and requesting a lawyer, but the judge denied the request since she had previously decided to represent herself. Witnesses went under oath, including investigators at the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
No problem, Phoenix.
What are those photographs of, generally? Of DC.
The jury was shown photos of bullet casings and Blanchard's purse inside the victim's bathroom. Then more graphic photos, like blood splattered across the kitchen.
Do you recognize those 10 photographs? Yes, I do. And what are those photographs of?
Photographs of the area where Howlet's body was.
Blanchard believed Christopher Howlet would help her get her kids back since his company E-Claws claimed to assist people who lost custody of their children. MCSO deputies say she shot him in November 2020. State prosecutors played a phone call.
Sorry, it was all the way back in 2020. I thought it was 2023.
Blanchard seeming to confess to the crime.
I tried to call 911. I shot Christopher Howlet because he is a part of the human sex satanic trafficking of children.
The call.
Yeah, that was a recorded phone call I couldn't find on YouTube, unfortunately, but she did admit to the crimes on a phone call.
Brought her to tears.
I had to protect myself and I had to protect my girls.
Blanchard's sister was next to testify. The defendant stumbled during her cross-examinations.
The objection is sustained. Ask her another question.
But prosecutors were quick to shut down many of Blanchard's questions.
Time to do call-outs. I don't know how much longer we're going, but sure. If you do me a favor and hit the like on YouTube, it helps a lot. Hype the video if you can, and if you want to support the stream, you can always do so on YouTube with memberships and super chats, and on Twitch with subscriptions and bits. We are on the last couple days of the month, so if you'd like to help, great. Okay. So I think we're done with her, but we do still have a little bit of time left, so let's watch a little bit of other Sovsit stuff before we call it a night. We'll call this a bonus, shall we?
I'm not violating your rights. You are disobeying the law. You need to step out of the vehicle or I'm going to break the window.
Get out now.
Get out of the car. Stop resisting.
Those are my children. Then I'm not driving.
You're driving.
I'm traveling. That would be considered kidnap.
Patrolled the area.
Their arrest. There's a big difference.
On February 1st, 2023, as an officer patrolled...
Oh my god, you're not even paying for your stock images, you fucking assholes. Do you know how cheap it is to pay for a fucking stock video library? Lazy goddamn assholes. You can say fuck Adobe, that's fine. Don't use Adobe. I don't use Adobe. I use a different stock video service. Tea Time Tea, thank you for gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. Thank you so much.
The area, a speeding vehicle.
You genuinely don't know how cheap, can you tell us? Mine is $5 a month. $5 a month.
Caught their attention, surpassing the legal limit by 20 miles per hour.
Yes, really.
In a 50
Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 Tier 1 subs.
50-mile-per-hour zone. What followed was a routine traffic stop that unearthed a distressing scene beyond just a speeding violation. Upon closer inspection, officers were confronted with a disturbing sight: 3 dogs confined in the back of the truck, trapped amidst their own waste, their mouths bloodied from desperate attempts to escape these deplorable conditions. Worse yet, there was no provision of food or water for these innocent creatures.
Poor puppies.
Hello, Officer Walker, Cape Coral Police Department. The reason I stopped you is you're going 70 in a 50-mile-per-hour zone.
Oh, 20 over. That's not great. That's maybe reckless driving territory.
This speedometer and fuel gauge, as you can see, it's not 8 on 8.
Okay.
It's like almost a full tank.
You were going way above the speed limit, over 20 over. Do you have your license, registration, proof of insurance?
Well, I'm not driving. I'm traveling. So driving is like you're operating in a commercial.
3205.
You said the thing.
Do you have your license, registration, proof of insurance?
No, I'm not driving.
Another hype train. If you want to help out the hype train, you can always gift subs, become a subscriber, or use bits. Thanks, Stonecore Bell, for gifting a sub and getting us to 420 subs for the month. Blaze it.
I'm not asking if you're driving, I'm asking for your ID.
Well, I mean, I'm wanting to know if I've committed a crime.
All right.
It's not letting
I stopped you because you're going 20 over the speed limit. I don't care if your speedometer is not correct. I want to see your license.
No, I don't use a license. I'm not.
So you have nothing to identify yourself?
No, I don't use driver's license. I'm not driving. I'm traveling.
What's your name?
Means you're operating a commercial
What's your
capacity.
name? What's your name?
I'm not driving.
You are operating a motor vehicle on a roadway.
Automobile.
What's your name?
I'm not driving.
What is your name?
Can you please prove to me that I can
You are in the driver's seat of a vehicle operating on a roadway.
Can you prove to me or tell me a reasonable articulable suspicion that
All right, so go ahead and step out of the vehicle.
Yes, the reasonable articulable suspicion is you were clocked going 20 miles over the speed limit.
For me? Step out of the vehicle. Yes, you have, sir. And you're failing to identify yourself, and you have to have a driver's license to operate a motor vehicle on a roadway in the United States.
But I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
You are driving, driving, whatever you want to call it, you are operating a motor vehicle.
No, this is not a motor vehicle, this is a traveling shuttle.
I keep forgetting to do the sovereign citizen bingo you made, Felix. I gotta remember next time to pull it up.
Sir?
It's an automobile.
Sir, I'm not going to play games with you. You can identify yourself.
I'm not trying to play games with you. I'm willing to cooperate with you. Under the condition that you please.
I'm asking for your name.
Can you please give me a supervisor?
I'm asking for your name. There's no reason for a supervisor to come out here if you can't identify yourself. I'm asking for you to identify yourself. If you identify yourself to me, I'll ask for a supervisor to come out here. I can't ask for a supervisor for someone who won't tell us who they are.
Please do not violate my rights and escalate.
I'm not violating your rights. You are disobeying the law. You are disobeying the law.
I'm telling you,
you have to
I'm not
identify
driving.
yourself. You are driving 70 and a 50.
This does not work.
It does not matter, sir.
What do you mean this does not work? Yes, it does.
Sir, it does not matter. It does not matter if your speedometer is incorrect, then you're operating a vehicle that does not have the proper equipment.
Oh, his explanation was the speedometer doesn't work? Well then, if you can't tell the speed by, like, matching the speed around you, I guess you shouldn't drive then. Or just don't drive at all. You need to know how fast you're going.
This is not a motor vehicle.
It is a motor vehicle.
This is a traveling shuttle.
By definition, this is a motor vehicle.
Motor vehicles are commercial.
Sir, I'm not going to argue with this. I'm not going to argue
You
with
put
you.
a very photogenic picture of your mom's dog in the live chat. Let's look at it for a quick cleanse. That is a cutie. Look at this cute dog! They look like a mogwai. They're adorable. Also, I see an Indiana Jones DVD set behind the dog. So that's good. What else is there? Hold on, I'm more interested in the DVDs than the dog. Is that Moonwalker?
About it, you can
Time T says, cute puppy. It is indeed.
identify yourself, or you're going to go to jail tonight. Do you understand me?
Are you coercing me?
Moonlighting. That makes more sense. Minute on the hype train. I do own Moonwalker.
I'm not forcing you to do anything, but I will if I have to. You can identify yourself. I'm recording too. Go right ahead. Sir, you were driving 70 and a 50. I'm asking you to identify yourself and provide your paperwork for your vehicle.
Can you give me a reasonable, articulable...
I just did.
You've been given it! Bumble Homestead says, I tried my hand at patty melts and the family liked it. Thanks for the unintentional suggestion a while back. I'm glad they liked it. I love patty melts.
I've committed a crime.
I just explained to you why I stopped you, and that is a crime. Driving 20 miles over the speed limit is a crime. It is. It is a violation of Florida state statutes.
Yeah, but those statutes don't have jurisdiction over me.
Yes, they do. You can identify yourself, or you're going to go to jail tonight.
You're coercing me. You're coercing me to do something that is in cooperation with you against my better judgment. That is coercion.
Sir.
Anything that I do from this point forward is because I'm under the...
Thanks for the hype train, everyone. And thank you for all the support this stream. There's really been a lot, and I really appreciate it. I hope you know I couldn't do this show without you guys, and I see how much you support it, and I appreciate all of you for it. I appreciate your viewership and your support. I really couldn't do this without you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Feel about it, you need to identify yourself. Yes, you have, sir. I've already explained the crime to you that you have committed, and now you are failing identify yourself.
But first things first, can you prove to me that I committed a crime?
I already explained it to you, sir. I already explained it to you.
I have not committed a crime.
Yes, you have. Just because you feel like you don't have to obey the law does not mean you don't have to obey the law.
You should, Nemesaur.
Sir.
Patty melts are always good.
Inalienable rights.
If you don't,
Oh, he said inalienable. I don't think he said unalienable. Nice.
if you don't believe in the laws of the United States, then how do you have any rights under that? Can you explain that to me?
Are they penal codes or are they laws? Is this the Inquisition?
Sir, are you going to identify
Is
yourself?
this the Inquisition?
Is this the Inquisition?
The Inquisition. Let's begin the Inquisition. Look out, sin. I know you're wishing that we'd go away.
Are you going to provide identification, sir?
Can you please get your supervisor?
Are you going to provide identification?
Can you please get your supervisor?
Are you going to provide identification? Sir, I'm not going to play games
Mel Brooks has the superior Spanish Inquisition bit. Monty Python, overrated. Hot take.
with you. You need to ID yourself.
I don't need to play games. I'm just wanting you to acknowledge my rights, my inalienable rights. And I have the right to speak to your supervisor.
That is not a right. That is nowhere in your rights does it say that you have a
I don't dislike Monty Python, by the way. I love Meaning of Life.
right to speak to my supervisor. If you will not identify yourself, why do you need to speak with my supervisor if you don't even want to ID yourself?
Because I feel like you
Can't
are
beat a song and dance routine. Exactly.
operating under the color of law.
You're just throwing out words, man. I don't think you know what any of them actually mean.
True.
That's not what color of law means.
You're operating under the color of law.
That's not what color of law
Have I
means,
seen the upper class Twit of the Year sketch? I have not.
sir.
Whenever I ask for you to get your supervisor, you must.
All right, sir. We're not playing games.
You're not gonna find
Now you have that scene from Dead Like Me where Rube explains what a patty melt is. Oh, I loved Dead Like Me. I need to rewatch that sometime.
Hey, man. What's up? What's going on?
Okay, so I asked to speak to your supervisor. And
Okay.
outright denied.
She's denying you a supervisor? Okay. Can I ask why? Because they're going to want to know why.
I feel like she's operating under the color of law. And she's coercing me against my better judgment.
She's coercing me.
Why'd she stop you?
She's coercing me.
What? How is she coercing you, man?
She's threatening me, threatening that she's going to take me to jail. And if I don't
Yes, there is the ever-present threat of going to jail if you break the law. That does not only exist when she is reminding you of it, it exists all the time.
cooperate with her,
Okay. 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 So, okay, so you want to supervise because she's trying to intimidate you.
Nice, Dodger Mutt. Thank you.
I got to make sure I understand what's going on, man, okay? I haven't been here. Step out of the vehicle, sir.
Okay, call to 3305. Checking the port.
I can't hear you.
I'm asking for your badge number.
I literally can't hear what you're asking me.
Your badge number, please.
My badge number is 2143. Officer Walker, can I have you step out of the vehicle? Sir, can I have you step out of the vehicle, please? Can I have you step out of the vehicle, sir? I can't hear anything you're saying to me.
That I've committed a crime. Can you give me
I can't hear you. I already explained it to you. I already explained it to you. I stopped you because you were going 70 miles an hour in a 50-mile-an-hour zone.
Speedometer, I cannot
It
tell.
doesn't matter, sir. That means you're operating a vehicle that does not have proper equipment. So my understanding right now is that she's saying that you're traveling above the posted speed limit. Is that what my understanding is? It's to me, it's the same thing. So if it's okay. Okay.
Those that make the laws shall obey the laws. Okay. That is what your law people say.
Okay. I understand your. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Okay.
Feel bad for
well,
these
right now you're in the
dogs.
city of Cape Coral, right? Okay.
The back of pickup trucks, the back seat of a pickup truck is not very big usually. At least compared to, like, the front. I feel like those dogs are probably cramped up. He does have dogs. They get taken away from him in this interaction because they're malnourished and their mouths are bleeding. Star Elf says, I want to hear an officer say, you and I disagree. Guess who gets to decide who's right? I know they won't answer, but I'd like to hear it.
Hang on. So everybody within our jurisdiction is our jurisdiction. I understand
I can forgive the sovereign citizen bullshit. I can't forgive poorly treating your animals. Fuck you, dude.
Your belief is
Fuck you.
different, okay?
I can't hear what you're saying. Roll down your window and maybe I'll be able to hear you. I can't hear you with the traffic behind me and your window only open this much.
Can you please prove your jurisdiction?
You are in the city of Cape Coral. Yes, it does. You are in the city of Cape Coral. Even if you weren't from the United States, if you're in the city of Cape Coral, I have jurisdiction. All right, sir, are you going to step out of the vehicle?
Okay. The supervisor.
Supervisor is on the way, but at this time you need to step out of the vehicle or I'm going to break the window.
I don't consent to coercion.
It's not coercion. I'm giving you a lawful order.
I've asked to speak to your supervisor.
Sir, you can either step out of the vehicle or I'm going to break the window.
Well, that would be a violation.
It would not be a violation of your property because you're failing to cooperate with law enforcement.
I would have to seek compensation.
I'm Officer Myers. I work for the Cape Coral Police Department. I work for the city's traffic division. Senior officer on the scene. Okay? Unlawfully pulled over. Okay? We've asked you to identify yourself. If you fail to identify yourself, it's considered a criminal offense.
Oh, his truck has a bigger backseat than I thought.
Obstruction of justice.
The dogs are still getting abused, apparently, but bigger than I thought, so that's good.
You're looking at him right now. Yes. What can I do for you? Your obstruction of justice is right now. You are violating the law. I will not answer any questions until you identify yourself. If you do not identify yourself, you will be arrested for obstruction of justice. You are detained. You are lawfully required to identify yourself. Provide your identification now, otherwise it will be a criminal offense. All right. Step out of the vehicle. Step out of the vehicle. If you do not open your vehicle, I will break the window and extricate you from this vehicle. Do you understand me? No.
Oh, we didn't even get to see it. Oh, there we go. We saw that.
There you go. I told you. Get out.
These officers have just broke my window.
One open?
Gotta break this front one?
Lock it, otherwise I'm gonna break this one.
Use a driver's license. I'm traveling.
You are required to identify yourself. I've asked you to identify yourself. You refuse.
Can you prove your jurisdiction over me?
Break
He
this one.
smashed the window. Is that not proof of the jurisdiction?
Watch out! I'm gonna break it.
Look, these guys are criminals. Yes.
Also, just a peach, is Green Guy okay? We haven't heard from it in a while.
Keep your hands back. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Get out now.
Get out of the car!
I'll be getting you hands behind your back. Stop resisting.
Stop resisting!
We got him.
Alright.
And then
M. Scheffler with 100 bits says, Super Green.
You've just violated my rights. I've asked for you to give me a reasonable articulate suspicion that I've committed a crime.
Spread your feet!
You have anything on you you're not supposed to have?
No.
You have anything that's going to poke or stick my officer? Or me was you searching? You're under arrest.
For what crime?
Obstruction of justice.
That is not a crime.
Yes, it
That
is.
is not a crime. You are operating under the color of law right now. That is not a crime.
Stop pulling away.
He is pulling me this direction. This is not a crime. Those are my children in there.
Well, you're going to quickly find it.
It's so weird that he calls the animals his children, but he's mistreating them and not feeding them. Really bizarre.
Code of law.
You're operating under the code of law. You are operating under the color of law.
Face me, face the vehicle.
Committed a crime.
Face the vehicle.
Those are my children.
Now,
I do not consent.
get in the vehicle.
I do not, and I request for someone to be able to come and
sit down
and operate my automobile.
Sit down.
I do not consent to
He seems to be blocked from comments and YouTube for some reason. Weird.
searches.
I'll try and see if I can fix that by next time. He shouldn't be blocked.
I require someone. I require to be able to contact someone. I require to be able to contact someone to come and get my truck.
Let's get in. Okay.
Get in.
Hop in real quick. Come on, get your feet in.
Get in. Face the front.
I request my things, my personal effects.
I'm getting your wallet.
And I require for someone to be able to come and operate my automobile rather than it being
We're gonna tow
It's being towed, sir.
That's my right. I require.
No, it is not your right.
No, you don't have a right to have your car towed.
Sir, you are being arrested. Your vehicle is being towed.
It is my right to have someone come and drive my.
Well, I ran his plate and it didn't come back to anything, so I was watching him and I followed him to make the turn and then he just took off and I had my radar on. I thought he wasn't going to stop because he slow rolled and I pulled like this and he kept rolling forward a little more and I was like, oh, maybe he's not going to stop, but then he stopped, surprisingly.
I need for someone, I request for my right to be honored with someone to be able to.
It is not your right. It is not your right. It is not your right.
Travel my truck away from the.
It is not your right.
It is my right.
It is not.
I've requested for someone to be able
Let's just go on like this for another 10 minutes. No, yes, no, yes.
to come and take my truck away from the premises. Private property.
You can feel however you want to feel about it, sir.
Say that again.
You can feel however you want to feel.
I don't feel any way about it. I just need compensation. I'll just have to seek compensation.
Go for it.
Good luck.
Hey man, you want to talk to supervisor?
Yes.
What can I do for you?
Are you a supervisor?
Yeah.
Okay. Must I have to talk like this? These
Yes.
cuffs are like
Yeah, be under arrest.
pinching into my bones.
Yes, sir, you're under arrest.
Well, for what crime?
For failure to identify yourself, obstruction of the investigation, not registering a motor vehicle.
Are these crimes?
Yes, sir.
Or are they penal codes?
They're Florida State statute crimes, yes, sir.
But I've explained to her that those have no jurisdiction over me, a man.
Listen, sir, you're in the state of Florida. You got to abide by the state of Florida rules and laws.
But those, I'm a man.
I understand this way.
He seems genuinely bewildered, but I'm a man. What?
Those have no jurisdiction.
Yes, everyone who's ever been to prison is a man, woman, or some other gender. They're all people, my friend.
Listen, I understand. We're not going to talk in circles. In the state of Florida, you need to have a registered motor vehicle.
But
Listen to me.
I explained
Listen
to
to
her
me.
that I'm not driving.
You're driving.
I'm traveling. I'm not
Listen,
driving.
I'm not going to. You're driving.
I'm not operating
That's
in a
semantics.
commercial capacity.
Okay. Listen, you're being charged tonight with resisting arrest. You're being charged.
Arrest?
Yes. You're being charged with failure to identify yourself upon demand of a law enforcement officer. You're being charged with not registering a motor vehicle in the state of Florida or not having a registered motor vehicle in the state of Florida. You're also going to be documented as a John Doe, meaning you're not going to be released from jail until you identify yourself.
I know what you mean, Ratslings. It just doesn't matter because there's no requirement for him to be a corporation for him to be arrested.
You need to have a legal identification for who you are. So also going to do a background check. So if you don't have a license, you'll be charged with that as well at that point.
But a driver's license? Is that what you're referring to?
You need to have a license, yeah. In the state of Florida, you got to have an actual license to drive from another state or the state of Florida.
Officer Costa?
Yes, sir. Listen, I'm explaining to you.
Officer Costa, I'm not driving. I'm explaining to you.
Listen, traveling.
I'm articulating to you that I'm not driving.
I understand what you're saying, sir. Listen.
And I asked for her to give me a reasonable, articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime.
Which she gave multiple times.
A reasonable,
Your understanding of what the definition of a crime is wrong.
articulable fact that I have committed a crime.
Good, listen,
she did not provide that to me.
And you'll have your right to be able to articulate that in court. So your car is being held for proof of ownership.
I do not understand the charges.
I just explained it to you.
I do not understand.
Your car is being held for proof of ownership.
And then I've asked for her to acknowledge my right that I am requesting to have someone come and operate
It's not a right.
my automobile away from the premises.
Absolutely not.
That is my right.
I'm explaining to you what's going to happen to your car.
Where in the world do you think that right is enumerated?
Your car's gonna get towed.
Those are my children in the back. Those are my children.
You're gonna listen to me, right?
I do not have a contract with the city.
Explain to you.
I'm gonna close the door if you don't want me to explain to you. Things are gonna get complicated for you. The car is being held for proof of ownership. You need to be able to identify who you are and that you're the legal owner of this car. Animal control is coming for your dogs. Same thing as happening to your dogs. If you want to get your dogs out of the pound, you're gonna have to identify yourself and prove that you are who you are and you're the owner of those 2 dogs.
But I don't have any paperwork.
How do I know? How do I know those dogs are not stolen? The truck's not stolen.
But how do you know that I don't own them?
I need to have proof of ownership.
Just a Peach says we don't send plants or fungus to prison.
I don't have. I privately
But we should.
own those. I own them.
How do I know you didn't steal those 2 dogs in that truck tonight?
I don't have paperwork.
You need to have paperwork.
I have pictures. I have other forms of proof.
This is how things work.
I have other forms of proof. I have witnesses.
That's not gonna fly. We need to have paperwork. We need to have an identification to release the vehicle to you, the dogs to you. Again,
there is no proof of anyone else that is claiming those dogs belong to them.
I can tell you that for animal control to release those dogs, you need to have legal identification.
But I don't have a contract with animal control.
Okay, I understand. I have a
Doesn't matter.
I don't have any paperwork
I get, but
or
they're
any signed agreements with them.
So I'm explaining to you. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, can I please have someone?
No, sir.
In 1800s, a pig killed a boy and they hanged the pig. Did they eat it afterwards? Or was it, like, tainted by its criminality? Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says, prison abolition except for kudzu. I don't know what that means.
Our policy states that the vehicle has to get towed and your dogs have to be impounded. Yes, sir.
Officer Costa, are you not acknowledging that I'm telling you that
I'm explaining to you what's going to happen. I'm acknowledging what you're asking me. I'm declining your acknowledgement. I'm telling you what's going to happen to your car and your dogs and what's going to happen to you. So you're not going to get released unless you get identified. You know that, right?
I don't understand the charge.
Phoenix says, Hannah, I don't have a contract with you. You can't tell me what to do. That's true. That's true, actually. I can't tell you what to do. Correct.
Being charged
I did not
again.
commit a crime.
You've committed multiple crimes in our presence here tonight. Yes, sir.
Kudzu is a vine that spreads all over the South. I see.
These are penal codes and statutes. I told you that I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
Listen, you can say whatever you want. You can say you don't abide by them, but unfortunately, in the United States, we have laws that you have to abide by.
I'm not a United States citizen.
Okay, great.
Wouldn't matter.
You're traveling through the roads of Florida, and you have to abide by the laws of Florida. So, any other questions, sir?
Will my personal effects be sent with me?
Your phone and your wallet are going with you, and that's it. Your money that's in your wallet and your phone.
So your car is being impounded. All whatever's on the card stays.
My beautiful children.
I understand. They'll be taken well care of by the animal
beautiful
pound.
abused
Animal
children.
control.
They're going to become traumatized being inside of those confines.
Something to think about. Maybe you want to identify yourself and identify, your dog to them when you get them out.
Well, but first I asked her, can she please show me that I have committed a crime? She said,
Sir,
that
listen,
I
this is
violated
not
traffic
sir,
law.
this is not a courtroom. This is a traffic stop on the side of the road.
But my inalienable rights, haven't you sworn an oath of office to protect my inalienable rights and not exceed your jurisdiction?
We're not exceeding our jurisdiction, and we're enforcing the laws of the state of Florida. So, we're done here, man. Good luck to you. Hopefully you reconsider your stance, all right?
So, are you wanting me, you're wanting me to identify myself now?
You're gonna need to identify yourself at some point. You're still going to jail. Either we're gonna book you as who you are,
Why'd
or we're
he
gonna
laugh?
book you as a Jane Doe, and then to be released, you're gonna have to give your name.
Jane Doe, not John Doe. Got him.
I've explained this to you. I'm not being rude to you. I'm explaining
That
to
would
you.
be considered kidnap, officer.
No, you're under arrest. There's a big difference. You should read the laws for kidnapping. We have a legal authority to place people under arrest.
Without
They say that as if identifying himself will change anything. He's gonna have to before they let him out of jail.
identification.
All right, we're done.
Like, if they did it right now, great. He's going to jail either way, but he's gonna have to identify himself before he's released.
Have a good night, man. Watch your knee there, all right?
That is considered.
Hey, animal control is here. They're assessing the conditions of your dogs, and they're most likely not going to charge you with animal cruelty as well. For the conditions of the animals.
What condition are you suggesting that they're in?
He is. He's the animal investigator. It's inadequate shelter, housing. He said something about lack of food, covered in feces, inadequate space for 3 dogs.
Dog food in the pickup bed, water in the pickup bed, got constant maintenance after them.
Yeah. So, like I said, it sounds like you're going to be charged with that as well. So good luck to you.
There's not enough for 3 dogs in the back seat of that car, I don't think. I guess it depends on the size of the dogs, but I'm picturing mid-sized dogs.
It sounds like I'm going to be charged. What is the charge?
Animal cruelty.
I'm
3 dogs. Yeah.
the private owner, and I have no contract with animal control. I haven't registered with the county.
It doesn't
There's no
matter.
paperwork between me and them.
That's not a thing.
They're in transit.
She's trying to explain to you why they're... Can I talk? Are you going to let me speak, or are you just going to keep interrupting? Because if you're going to keep interrupting, we're going to...
Does he live in the car? He never mentions it.
Stop explaining you anything, okay?
She is explaining to me that
All
I'm
right,
being charged
you're done.
with animal cruelty.
You're done.
Which I'm explaining.
You won't let us talk.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's their bodily condition. That's the reason that they're saying they don't have adequate food and water.
We're not going to explain anything else to you.
I don't understand the language that you're using.
I said nothing about charge. I asked you if you're the owner of these dogs. That's all I asked. If you are, I want to know so that when these dogs get taken to wherever they are, and if you get out, we can release them to their owner. But I can't release them to somebody who I don't know.
Do you have paperwork that proves that I have agreed?
Your agreement is not necessary.
Sign paperwork with the city of animal control. I have no documents with them. I have no paperwork with them.
Hey, Sarge. Sarge.
I have no signed agreements with them. They are not registered. I'm being kidnapped right now.
You're being arrested.
Chitara says, "Sir, it appears that you have a terminal illness. You only have a few months left to live. I haven't made a contract with death, so I reject that diagnosis."
This is kidnapping.
No, you're being arrested.
You have not properly...
Okay, I don't want you to talk anymore. Just be quiet.
The subject. You have not properly identified the subject, and now you're taking me into custody. I don't understand the charges.
I explained to you the charges. My sergeant explained to you the charges. Just because you don't agree with them, doesn't mean that they are not your charges.
Aw, nice homoerotic race car.
I don't care if you don't understand. I already explained it to you, and so did my sergeant, and that's it.
Miss Antry, thanks for 33 months.
I don't understand these charges. I must seek compensation. I must file motions to the courts and pursue a legal settlement.
Go for it. If you won't even identify yourself, you can't do anything in court.
I'm not a Senate KB trust. I'm not a
SDK trust.
What are you... I don't even know what you're saying, man. Are you just throwing out random words? Because that's what it sounds like.
Senate KB trust.
What are you talking about?
You have no jurisdiction. You haven't proven to me any jurisdiction. You haven't shown me.
I don't need to prove anything to you. We already explained to you the charges, and that's it.
I don't understand any of these.
You don't have to understand. You don't need to understand. You're going to jail tonight. That's all you need to understand.
I challenge this jurisdiction.
Okay, go for it. Tell a judge. The judge is going to tell you the same thing.
I'm at peace with every man and woman on the land.
Not with the driver.
Okay.
I'm an American national, not a United States citizen. I'm not a citizen.
Bumble Homestead, thanks for gifting a sub to Homoerotic Race Car, and Cthulhu Flower with 38 months says, "Sir, those dogs are living creatures with rights that will be protected even from you."
Even non-citizens still have to follow the laws of the United States.
I do not recognize these codes.
Okay.
These codes recognize you.
You don't need to recognize them. You still are upheld by them.
You're interpreting as law.
You don't have to. You're in the United States and you're in the state of Florida, and you have to abide by our laws. Whether you recognize them or not, you still have to abide by them.
Natural law, the only law that applies to me, a man.
No, when you're in the state of Florida, the laws of the state of Florida and of the United States of America apply to you, whether you feel like they should or not.
Are you administering my estate?
What?
Are you administering my estate?
There's no estate. There's no trustee. There's no beneficiary.
The beneficiary of my Senate KB trust. I'm the beneficiary. I'm the beneficiary of my estate. And if anyone is going to be paid, if there's any monetary value involved, then I'm to be paid first. That is private property.
Oh, I agree, alt fact. It's probably the dog thing. Don't get me wrong, he's annoying, which doesn't help, but I'd be fed up with this guy too, with the dog thing.
I have no contract with animal control. I have not registered my children with animal control. They are...
You don't register them with animal control. However, you do have
You
to
always think of David Hall when you hear that speech. David Hall, the settler, the person, the individual, that David Hall.
register with them with the county that you are residing in.
You hear Hillary Duff in the background.
Jurisdiction.
The dreams are made of. I've got somebody to love. The Lizzie McGuire movie fucking slaps.
That doesn't make any sense, man. Do you really hear yourself? It makes no sense.
I do not recognize that jurisdiction.
Go ahead, step out.
These things are cutting into my bones. I'm at peace with every man and woman in the land.
And you can be at peace. Inside the jail.
I'm at peace with all brothers and sisters on the land.
All 3 dogs were transferred into the care of Lee County Domestic Animal Services. The 34-year-old Anthony Tatum was charged with resisting violence, failure to register a motor vehicle, and aggravated animal cruelty.
All right, so that's it. Thanks everyone for hanging out, learning the story of Neely Petrie-Blanchard with me. Appreciate it. Hope that guy's dogs are in a better place now. And I think that's it. So, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I think I could actually not. And then you would see me Saturday, I think, because I normally take the first off too. Maybe I can get a couple days off. We'll see. We'll see if I stream tomorrow or not. We'll see how I feel. So, have a great night, everyone. I really appreciate you and your viewership. Let's see who we're going to rate on Twitch. Oops, that's the wrong link. We're going to rate on Twitch. That's me. Shut up, me. Shh. Shh. I don't like to hear that voice. We'll rate Granny. Oh, is Cirrus on? Maybe we can do Cirrus. Cirrus has fewer viewers in the first place, so that makes sense. All right. Oh, is Cirrus talking about the retrans detrans person? Yeah, I saw that. I'm glad that she retransitioned. I do think she's kind of a grifter, but still. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. All right, have a good night, everyone. See you soon. Bye.